Chapter 444. Big Brother. I'm a person who loves to idle away his time. Help me one more time _6. Mr. Mog isn't someone she can decide to marry just because she said so. On the contrary, Zhang Xianjing was a bit worried about Li Xianxian. After all, she had once been in a relationship with Mo Baichuan. Zhang Xianjing shared her concerns with Zheng Lingling. Zheng Lingling laughed and said, Xianjing, don't worry at all. I heard from your grandmother Mo before that they were not very satisfied with Li Xianxian, saying she's not good enough. Besides, they've already broken up. What else do you have to worry about? Hearing Zheng Lingling's words, Zhang Xianjing felt much less worried. Zheng Lingling continued, Xianjing, your most important task now is to win over Baichuan's heart, make him notice you, be fond of you, and want to marry you. To be Mrs. Mog, you can't just stay at home all day. Zhang Xianjing laughed. Mom, I understand what you mean. Zheng Lingling said, since you understand, why not get dressed up and go find Baichuan? As the saying goes, familiarity breeds affection. Feelings between a man and a woman are gradually built over time. Zhang Xianjing nodded in agreement. Yang has been settled in the restaurant for a week now and hasn't started the renovation because they were waiting for an auspicious time. Today is a good day. Early in the morning, Wang Tinyu brought a group of people to the front of the restaurant. In addition to local labor, Wang Tinyu also called many people from neighboring villages. Consequently, Yang not only became the lucky star of Jinghua Village, but also that of neighboring villages, and many people dreamed of moving to Jinghua Village. It's important to know that Jinghua Village's economy now far outstrips a few neighboring villages, and Yang's fame as a lucky star is spreading further and further. Before starting the renovation, Yang set off a string of firecrackers to bring good fortune. Wang Tinyu, with the blueprint in hand, was telling everyone where to start the renovation. The blueprint was designed by Yang herself, based primarily on traditional Chinese elements. In today's Beijing, there are Japanese restaurants and Western restaurants, but there is no restaurant that promotes the beauty of traditional Chinese culture. Although the decor of Japanese restaurants is quite classical, it belongs to Japan's own classical style, which has nothing to do with China. Yang now not only wants to expand her skincare business abroad, but also to export traditional Chinese culture through the restaurant industry, so that people all over the world can feel the charm of traditional Chinese culture. Yang, is this a column? Wang Tinyu asked, pointing at a black dot on the blueprint. That spot on the design seemed to be blurred by a water droplet. However, as the designer, Yang knew clearly every detail in the blueprint. Uncle Tinyu, this is a screen. It was fortunate that Wang Tinyu was attentive. Otherwise, if he had built a column, the consequences would be unthinkable. Wang Tinyu nodded. Oh, I see. Miss are you starting the renovation today? A gentle male voice came from outside the door. Yang turned around and saw that it was Chun Ji-song, the former owner of the restaurant. Mr. Chun. Yang nodded slightly. Chun Ji-song said, I was just passing by and saw the door open, so I came in for a look. This was where he started his first business and also the last, so his sentimental attachment was understandable. Yang smiled faintly. While this place hasn't changed much, would you like to take a photo to reminisce about it, Mr. Chun? Chun Zikang's eyes lit up. That's a great idea. He then said, Miss wait for me. I'll go get my camera. Sure. Yang nodded slightly. Shortly after, Chun Ji-song came back with a camera. In this era, a camera is a rare commodity. It costs more than 5,000 yuan to buy one. Ordinary farmers can't even afford to glance at it, let alone buy one, so everyone's surrounded to see it out of curiosity. This is a camera? This small thing can really capture images of people. This camera looks different from the ones I've seen in photo studios. Chun Ji-song kindly explained the principles of the camera to everyone, finally suggesting, how about I take a group photo for everyone? Great, great! Everyone was thrilled. It cost 1 yuan for a photo in a photography studio. Ordinary families couldn't afford to do so. Chun Ji-song held the camera and asked, Miss Would you like to take a group photo with everyone? Upon hearing this, everyone urged, Yang Yang, come and take a photo. It's rare for us to have a group photo together. And Yang wasn't originally interested in taking photos, but seeing everyone's enthusiasm, she walked over. Standing in the crowd, she felt an obvious sense of standing out from the crowd. Chen Jitsong looked at her through the lens. His heart involuntarily quickened. He had never seen a girl who looked so good under the lens. Some girls, though beautiful, do not photograph well. But Yang was different. She was not only beautiful in real life, but also very photogenic. Click! Chen Jitsong reluctantly pressed the shutter, because only when taking photos could he daringly gaze at Yang. After the photo was taken, everyone began to disperse. Chen Jitsong looked at Yang and tentatively asked, Miss would you mind if I took a picture with you? Yang smiled lightly. I'm sorry, I do mind. I'm afraid my boyfriend might misunderstand. Yang wasn't the type to remain ambiguous. A photo of a man and a woman together would easily lead to misunderstandings. Has a boyfriend already? Chen Zikang's expression dimmed somewhat. God knows which man had such good fortune to be Yang's boyfriend. Chen Jitsong laughed. It's okay. Your concern is very reasonable. Could I trouble Miss to take a few pictures of me? I can do that. Yang took the camera and took several photos of Chen Jitsong. I'm not very good at taking photos. I hope you won't mind, Mr. Chen. Chen Jitsong responded. How could I? I should be thanking Miss You're welcome. After exchanging some pleasantries, Chen Jitsong proposed to leave. Yang didn't stay long at the restaurant either, but went to the detective agency instead. Now, Xiaozhou regarded Yang as her best friend, because Yang was generous, reasonable, knowledgeable, and beautiful. She was a person worth getting to know. Yang. As soon as Yang entered the detective agency, Xiaozhou came to greet her. Yang followed Xiaozhou to the VIP room inside. Xiaozhou, do you have any recent news about Li Xianxian? Yang is a person who thinks ahead. She would not forget the ticking time bomb Li Xianxian just because she was comfortable for a moment. Chapter 445. She is the person I'm looking for. _1. Xiaozhou had been keeping a close eye on Li Xianxian. He poured a cup of tea for Yang, then said, she hasn't made any big moves, just that she recently broke up with Mo Baichuan. Regarding Li Xianxian, this seemed to be the only significant recent event. Broke up. Yang raised an eyebrow slightly. Xiaozhou nodded, and it was Li Xianxian who initiated the breakup. This move was somewhat confusing. Li Xianxian had gone to great lengths to get close to the Mo family, finally becoming Mo Baichuan's girlfriend. Would she so casually break up? Unless there was a bigger plot behind it. Yang narrowed her eyes slightly, then asked, Are there any other news aside from these? Xiaozhou paused to think, then said, Additionally, I noticed recently that Li Xianxian and Li Ting have been meeting each other quite frequently. Li Ting and Yang had contact with Li Ting before, so she knew that he had a crush on Li Xianxian. Even though the Li family was wealthy, it couldn't compare to the Mo family. Yang didn't think that Li Xianxian would give up on Mo Baichuan for Li Ting. It was now a critical time for Li Xianxian's breakup with Mo Baichuan. Why would she be meeting with Li Ting so frequently? Was she planning to use Li Ting to achieve her goal? Given Li Xianxian's character, it wasn't impossible, and Yang had her answer in mind. Then she said, Xiaozhou, could you please keep a close eye on Li Xianxian's movements these few days for me? If there's anything unusual, let me know immediately. All right, Xiaozhou nodded. Yang, don't worry about me. And Yang took out 800 yuan from her bag and gave it to Xiaozhou. Then he'll have to trouble you. Xiaozhou refused. Yang, we're friends. Mentioning money feels too crude. And Yang laughed. Even blood brothers keep clear accounts. If you don't accept it, I would feel bad asking for your help next time. Building connections with a detective wasn't easy, and Yang never wanted to take advantage of anyone. Hearing this, Xiaozhou had no choice but to take it. After leaving the detective agency, Yang rode her bike to the noodle restaurant. Just after crossing intersection, she saw a group of people huddled at the roadside, whispering about something. The poor old lady. Did she come out alone? Does anyone recognize this old lady? Let's contact her family quickly. Is there a doctor among us? The 80s were a relatively pure era. No one was trying to scam anyone yet. Everyone was genuinely concerned when they saw an old lady faint. On a quick glance, an Yong saw a familiar face. Was that Mrs. Shangwan? An Yong quickly stopped her bicycle and walked into the crowd. I'm a doctor of traditional Chinese medicine. Excuse me. Upon hearing the arrival of a doctor, the crowd immediately gave way to An Yong. Mrs. Shangwan's face was pale, her lips dark. An Yong preliminary diagnosed her fainting was due to a sudden heart attack. An Yong didn't have any herbs on hand, so she could only take out her acupuncture pouch meant for self-defense. She inserted a few needles into various acupoints on Mrs. Shangwan. As she knelt on the ground, seriously and earnestly performing the acupuncture, the surrounding crowd gasped in awe. Performing acupuncture. People had seen it on television, but never in real life. Watching this in person was far more shocking than seeing it on a TV screen. However, An Yong was still too young. In front of the crowd, she lacked credibility. In everyone's minds, traditional Chinese doctors were usually white-haired, bearded old men. The girl in front of them was just a child. Was she just fooling around? The more the crowd thought about it, the more they doubted An Yong. Whispers started circulating. A middle-aged man stepped forward. Young lady, you can't just insert needles randomly. If anything happens to the old lady, who will be responsible? Exactly. Young lady, did you graduate from a medical university? Do you have a practicing certificate? The crowd chimed in, concerned for Mrs. Shangwan. As An Yong continued the acupuncture, she said, everyone, rest assured, my family has practiced traditional Chinese medicine for generations. Acupuncture is simply a basic skill. There won't be any mistakes. Young lady, are you sure this will work? Young lady, if anything happens to the old lady, you won't be able to leave? An Yong smiled faintly. With so many of us present, even if I wanted to, where could I run off to? Chapter 446. She is the person I'm looking for. _2. Everyone saw that An Yong indeed had a point. They didn't try to stop her, but they warned, young lady, we need to be clear up front. If there are any unforeseen incidents, don't blame us for not warning you. An Yong responded, everyone rest assured, I take responsibility for my actions. Upon hearing her words, the crowd didn't say much, but kept their eyes fixed on An Yong. They wanted to see if she really was as good as she claimed to be. An Yong calmly continued her acupuncture. The crowd's attention and questioning didn't affect her at all. She remained composed, poised, and casually refined. Stop the car. A foreign luxury car abruptly stopped at the roadside. In the back seat, a handsome golden-haired, green-eyed foreign man, watching An Yong tend to her patient, his eyes full of hope, exclaimed, is this traditional Chinese medicine? It's truly amazing. He turned to the beautiful young Chinese woman beside him. Miss G, I believe she's the one I've been looking for. Miss G, a strikingly pretty woman, glanced out of the window, her eyes flickering with disgust. Speaking perfect French, she warned, Mr. Abner, there are numerous talented people in China, as well as quite a few charlatans. You're a stranger here, so you must be careful not to be deceived. The atmosphere here has really deteriorated. She had originally planned to introduce Abner to Chinese culture, but never thought that on the first day, had witnessed such decay. How embarrassing. Miss G frowned deeply. Abner turned to her, incredulous. You're saying she's a fraud? Miss G nodded. Chinese medicine works slowly and is only suitable for health maintenance rather than treating illnesses. Western medicine, as we know, accurately targets symptoms and gives quick results. It is so much faster. That's why the Qing dynasty fell so quickly, because of people like this perpetuating outdated traditions and deceiving others with their smooth talk. By the end, Miss J's voice was full of anger. Western medicine is universal and has benefited countless people, yet some remain stubbornly resistant, still asserting the efficacy of Chinese medicine. If Chinese medicine were truly effective, the Qing dynasty would not have fallen so quickly. Miss G continued, Mr. Abner, don't worry. We live in a time where medical technology is incredibly advanced. There will certainly be a doctor who can cure your mother. If even Western medicine couldn't cure an illness, what chance would Chinese medicine have? Wasn't this a joke? Abner frowned, looking at the beautiful figure in the crowd. How can such a beautiful girl be a fraud? And she's helping someone, which is commendable. Since they were taking a leisurely drive to enjoy the scenery of Beijing, Abner had seen everything unfold before him. When the old woman first collapsed, the crowd that gathered around her had not one doctor. Only an Aiyang stepped forward. In his view, it was pure altruism. How can Aiyang be a fraud? Miss G turned to look at an Aiyang. The young lady appeared about 17 or 18 years old, with delicate features and a complexion as white as snow. Calling her a national beauty would not be an overstatement. What a shame. Eager to achieve fame and prestige, she's completely unaware that the unconscious old woman is on the brink of death. She is as despicable as they come, risking a human life just for recognition. Such deplorable behavior. Disgust was evident in Miss Jai's eyes. Mr. Abner, as a fellow Chinese, I wouldn't slander my own people. In fact, I wish even more than you do that she's not a fraud. Everyone wants people from their country to be strong. Miss G sighed deeply, full of frustration, but my recent return here has been complete disappointment. If she could indeed perform medical miracles, that old woman would have awoken by now. But look at her. She's pale with blue lips, clearly beyond saving. The Chinese aren't just disappointing, they're also a disgrace. This reminded her of the sign in the Bun Park during the Republic of China era, saying no dogs or Chinese allowed. If the Chinese people continue this decline without aspiration for progress, they are doomed to repeat their past and return to an era of colonization. No, after this trip, she needs to hurry up and complete her immigration procedures to become a true citizen of F country. China has let her down too much. If it weren't for that person being in China too, she would never return. Chapter 447. She is the person I'm looking for. _3. Although Miss G expressed complete disdain for traditional Chinese medicine, Abner was not ready to give up. He had been to many countries, and China was his only hope. His mother's illness could not be delayed any longer. Miss G, I think you're biased towards ancient Chinese medical practices. The treatment isn't over yet, and neither of us has the right to judge whether she is a fraud or not. Seeing Abner still stubborn and persistent, Miss G continued, Mr. Abner, I understand that in your desperation to cure your mother, you would try anything. Let's put aside, for the moment, whether ancient medicine is effective. But consider her age. Do you think she, merely a child, is capable of performing life-saving surgeries? He had to concede the point. She was too young. At most 17 or 18, in their country people this age are still in high school and haven't even entered college yet. How could such a child possibly have the skills to treat patients and save lives? He must have been insane to believe that this small child possessed medical skills. Abner withdrew his gaze, the fire of hope in his eyes extinguished completely. He looked at Miss G. Let's go. All right. Miss G nodded and said to the driver, drive to the Rue restaurant. The driver started the engine, and the black car soon disappeared down the road. 2 minutes after the car left, the previously unconscious old lady Shangwan slowly opened her eyes. The world spun around her, surrounded by faces, which made her somewhat dazed. Was she dreaming? She's awake. She's awake. She's really awake. Excited voices came from the crowd. Turns out the girl does have some real skills. Old lady, how are you feeling now? And Aiyang slowly helped old lady Shangwan up. Old lady Shangwan gradually regained consciousness. Yang Yang, why are you here too? Someone immediately said, Old lady, you have to thank this young girl. If it wasn't for her, you would be in danger. Yes, you really need to thank her. The crowd was buzzing, and old lady Shangwan understood what had happened. She had suddenly fainted on the road, and Aiyang was passing by and saved her. Yang Yang, thank you. Old Lady Shangwan held Enai Yang's hand tightly. Enai Yang smiled and said, "Thank goodness you're okay. We'll take you to the hospital to get checked out, just to be safe." Enai Yang had already performed acupuncture on Old Lady Shangwan, and was certain the addition of Western medical instruments would be doubly effective. These days, Western medicine is popular globally, and people are increasingly dismissing traditional Chinese medicine. Actually, both traditional and Western medicine have their strengths and weaknesses. Traditional medicine treats the root cause, while Western medicine treats the symptoms. Combining the two is the best way to benefit humanity. Okay. Old Lady Shangwan nodded. I appreciate it, Yang Yang. And I Yang gently smiled and added, by the way, where is Xiaoxi today? Old Lady Shangwan replied, Xiaoxi had something to do today, so he didn't come with me. Oh. And I Yang nodded. The hospital was not far from here. And I Yang helped Old Lady Shangwan, and they arrived at the hospital in no time. No matter the era, hospitals are always crowded. While N.I. Yang was registering for a number, Old Lady Shangwan found a public phone booth on the first floor and made a call. N.I. Yang successfully registered and helped Old Lady Shangwan to the cardiology department. On their way up, she unexpectedly saw a familiar figure in the first floor lobby. Was that Li Xianxian? N.I. Yang squinted. What was she doing at the hospital? And the direction Li Xianxian was heading towards seemed to be the gynecology and obstetrics department. The gynecology and obstetrics department. Could it be that Li Xianxian was pregnant? N.I. Yang smirked slightly. This was interesting. In a short while, Shangwan Su appeared in the cardiology department. He ran over, sweat splotches appearing on his forehead, even dampening the tips of his hair. Grandma, are you okay? I'm fine, thanks to Yang Yang. Otherwise, it would have been a real disaster, Old Lady Shangwan said with a beaming smile. Where's Miss and I? Shangwan Su looked around, but didn't see N.I. Yang's figure. Old Lady Shangwan replied, Yang Yang went to get my report. Oh, Shangwan Su nodded. While N.I. Yang was fetching the report for Old Lady Shangwan, she also managed to make a trip to the second-floor gynecology and obstetrics department. Over there, she saw Li Xianxian sitting on a blue plastic chair with her Q number. Considering Li Xianxian's current condition, she was very likely to be pregnant. Could the baby be Baichuan's? If Li Xianxian was really pregnant with Baichuan's child, would she still deliberately break up with him and still be entangled with Li Ting? Chapter 448. She is the person I'm looking for. _4. N.I. Yang squinted her eyes and didn't stay on the second floor for too long, quickly returning to the third floor instead. Shangwan Su was accompanying Old Lady Shangwan. When he saw N.I. Yang approaching, he promptly came forward and said, Miss N.I., I can't thank you enough for today. If it weren't for you, my grandmother's life might have been in danger. It was nothing, no need to mention it. N.I. Yang handed the report to Shangwan Su. Since you're here now, I'll be on my way. Shangwan Su continued, You're leaving so soon? Why not join us for a meal? Old Lady Shangwan chimed in. Xiaoxi was right. Yang Yang, you did us a huge favor. It would be improper if you left without having a meal. And I Yang replied with a smile. You're being too kind, but I need to attend to a few things at my shop. Goodbye, Old Lady Shangwan, Mr. Shangwan. With these words, N.I. Yang turned and walked away. Watching N.I. Yang's receding figure, Old Lady Shangwan remarked, Yang Yang is really a good child. Shangwan Su watched N.I. Yang's retreating figure in silence. Outside, the sun was bright and slightly scorching. As N.I. Yang walked out of the hospital, she unconsciously raised her hand to shield her forehead from the sun, allowing a sliver of light to penetrate through her fingers, casting a faint shadow on her curled eyelashes. Miss N.I., wait a moment. A gentle male voice sounded behind her. N.I. Yang slightly turned her head. A wisp of hair swept past her lips. Under the sunlight, her clear and sparkling peach blossom eyes were utterly captivating. This was the charm of a woman's graceful turn and enchanting smile. Shangwan Su was briefly stunned. He approached N.I. Yang and handed her a 100 yuan note. I forgot to give you the fee for the medicine and registration. And I Yang reached out to accept it, smiling. Actually, you didn't have to bother coming all the way here. Old lady Shangwan and I meet often. Shangwan Su said, my grandmother has poor memory and feared she might forget, which is why she asked me to deliver this to you. And I Yang flashed a small smile. It's just a small amount of money. It wouldn't matter even if she forgot. How could that be? Shangwan Su continued. You've already helped my grandmother so much. It's only proper to compensate you for the medical expenses. By the way, did you come on foot? Could I offer you a ride home? And I Yang declined with a smile. Thank you, but there's no need. My bike is parked not far from here. With his handsome features, distinguished background, and the prestigious position he held, few women would reject Shangwan Su. Yet, An Yang was one of those rare few. Shangwan Su, who had planned to drive An Yang home, was taken aback. He hesitated for a moment before saying, Okay, please be careful on your way. An Yang nodded slightly. I will, goodbye. Goodbye. Shangwan Su waved at her before turning around to walk back into the hospital. When he returned alone, old lady Shangwan asked unhappily, Why did you come back alone? Didn't I ask you to accompany Yang Yang home? Shangwan Su replied, She came on her bicycle, so there was no need for me to send her. Old lady Shangwan shook her head in frustration. You really? This grandson of hers was beyond help. He didn't seize opportunities, even laid in front of him. No wonder he was still alone. Shangwan Su changed the subject. By the way, where's Xiaoxi? Isn't she usually the one who accompanies you on these outings? Old lady Shangwan replied. Xiaoxi went to the mall with your father. Xiaoxi went to the mall with Dad? Shangwan Su asked, taken aback. Your Aunt Lin and her daughter Chang Yu are also with them. Old lady Shangwan continued. Your dad gets along well with your Aunt Lin, who has a daughter 4 years younger than Xiaoxi. Today's outing was mainly to see if Xiaoxi and Chang Yu could get along. Despite not having met Lin Fong, old lady Shangwan already had a favorable impression of her. After all, Lin Fong had been introduced by one of their own. What does Aunt Lin do? Shangwan Su asked. Old lady Shangwan replied. She is in the education industry, a kindergarten teacher. Shangwan Su nodded. She must have a lot of love to give. The Shangwan family was renowned, so even though they were considering a second marriage, they couldn't settle for someone mediocre. A profession like a teacher was ideal, as it immediately gave the impression of an understanding and empathetic person. It also lent respectability. Old lady Shangwan continued. She's also of good character. I've heard that after her ex-husband passed away years ago, she kept painstakingly looking after her paralyzed mother-in-law. She's a rare gem of a daughter-in-law. Shed heard that Shangwan Shi was not very good-looking, so not only did she want to outshine Shangwan Shi in terms of appearance, but she also wanted to dress better than her. She wanted to seem more like a rich heiress than Shangwan Shi. Only then could she leave a good impression on Shangwan Dehui. As Lin Fong was touching up her makeup in front of a mirror, she said, Xiaoya, be sweet when you meet them later. But try not to talk too much when you can just smile. Families like the Shangwans view behavior and speech very importantly. The more you say, the more likely you'll make mistakes. Whether you can become a young lady of a wealthy family and make your way up the social ladder, all depends on your performance today. If their meeting today went smoothly, then the next time they meet, Shangwan Hui would suggest that she meet Madame Shangwan. Once she had met with Madame Shangwan, marriage would not be far off. Therefore, today's meeting was vitally important. Mom, rest assured, Chang Yu said with a smile. It'll definitely charm the father and daughter pair so much that they won't know which way is north. Chang Yu didn't have many talents, but she was certainly good at flattering and coaxing people. Besides, who wouldn't want such a huge fortune? As long as she performed well, she could marry Shangwan Su in the future and become the lady of the Shangwan family. With this thought, a light filled Chang Yu's eyes. Lin Fong nodded with a smile. Mitchum, that's my good girl. Chang Yu continued. Is it only Shangwan Shi coming today? Is Shangwan Su not coming? Lin Fong replied. Shangwan Su is a bank manager. He doesn't have the time to come. You just need to get along with Shang Wanshi. Oh, a flash of disappointment flickered in Chang Yu's eyes. As a mother, how can Lin Feng not know what Chang Yu was thinking? She put away her makeup mirror and looked at Chang Yu. Once your mom successfully marries into the Shangwan family, do you still worry about not having the chance to meet Shangwan Su? Chang Yu nodded. You're right, Mom. After a while, the figure of Shangwan de Hui appeared in the distance. As he approached, he greeted them, Hello, Xiaolin. Chapter 450. She is the person I'm looking for. _6. Here we are. Lin Feng's eyes lit up, pulling Chang Yu towards the front and introduced, Xiaoya, this is your Uncle Shangwan. Nice to meet you, Uncle Shangwan. Chang Yu bowed while searching for the silhouette of Shangwan Shi. Where is Shangwan Shi? Did she feel so ashamed because she saw how pretty I am, so she didn't dare to come? That's too disgusting. And here she is, a little miss. A few ridicules flicker in the depth of Chang Yu's eyes. Lin Feng continued. This is my daughter Chang Yu. By the way, where is Xiaoxi? Didn't you say she would come too? Hello, Xiaoya. Shangwan Dehui nodded and continued. Xiaoxi ran into a classmate outside the mall. She should be here soon. Oh, right. While they were talking, a tall figure in a small suit walked over Dad. Shangwan Dehui turned his head. Xiaoxi, let me introduce you. This is Annie Lin, and this is her daughter Chang Yu. Not only is Shangwan Zai's facial features exquisite, her tall figure accentuates her good looks. In her neat short hair and small suit that highlight her figure, her pair of beautiful eyes scan over Lin Feng and Chang Yu, projecting great charisma. She is indeed born of a wealthy family. Chang Yu, when compared to her, wasn't even fit to hold candle. The high-spirited Chang Yu suddenly became low-spirited after seeing Shangwan Shi. Nice to meet you, Andy Lin and Xiaoya. Shangwan Shi greeted politely. Lin Feng smiled and said, Xiaoxi, you are so beautiful, unlike Xiaoya, who has been an ugly duckling since she was little. Shangwan, she said, that's not true. Annie Lin is being too humble. Xiaoya is beautiful too. Chang Yu greeted formally. Hello, Sister Xiaoxi. Chang Yu, just call me Xiaoya. Okay. Shangwan, she tucked a loose strand of hair behind her ear. As she moved, a jade bracelet on her wrist became visible. Chang Yu's eyes almost popped out. The jade bracelet was so beautiful. It must be super expensive. Seeing how Shangwan she was dressed, Chang Yu suddenly thought that her own 58 yuan dress was downright shabby. Lin Feng subtly pinched Chang Yu's arm, and Chang Yu withdrew her gaze. They chatted while wandering around the mall. Shangwan she offered to buy some clothes for Chang Yu, but Chang Yu politely refused. Thank you, Sister Xiaoxi. I appreciate your kind gesture, but there's no need to buy clothes. I have enough to wear. Shangwan she smiled and said, just buy a few. Consider it a token of affection from your sister. Chang Yu said, there really is no need. My mother has taught me since childhood to be frugal. As long as I have enough clothes to wear, I shouldn't pursue flamboyancy and beauty. Shangwan Hui nodded contentedly. It was clear that Lin Feng had raised her daughter well. Shangwan, she was also very pleased with her new sister. After shopping, the four of them went to a restaurant to eat. In order to leave a better impression on Shangwan Dehui and Shangwan Shi, Lin Feng secretly paid the bill. The rich sure are rich. A regular meal cost 368 yuan. Thinking about it made Lin Feng's heart ache. But again, if 368 yuan were to be exchanged for a lifetime of wealth, it didn't seem to matter so much. After all, no pain, no gain. When Shangwan Hui tried to settle the bill and found out that Lin Feng had already paid, he said embarrassingly, we agreed that it was my treat. How could I let you pay? Lin Feng laughed and said, nowadays we advocate gender equality and freedom of love. If you always pay, wouldn't this contradict the concept of gender equality? Lin Feng's performance did not go wrong, which satisfied both Shangwan Dehui and Shangwan Shi. After the party broke up, Shangwan Shi asked straightforwardly, Dad, when do you plan to marry Annie Lin? Shangwan Dehui was taken aback. Although he thought Lin Feng was a great candidate for a wife, he hadn't thought about when to get married, so this question surprised him. Perhaps some dreams and some people should really be forgotten. Shangwan, she continued, Annie Lin is really a good person. You should seize this opportunity. Shangwan Dehui nodded. I know. So you still haven't decided when to get married? Shangwan, she asked again. Time flies. Her father has been alone for so many years, and now that he has finally met the right person, Shangwan, she really doesn't want him to miss out again. Shangwan Dehui replied, Your grandma hasn't met Annie Lin yet. We are not in a hurry for this. Shangwan, she smiled and said, Don't worry, Grandma will definitely like Annie Lin too. Shangwan Dehui nodded. When I find the time, I will bring Auntie Lin home to meet your grandma. Yeah, Shangwan, she held Shangwan Dehui's arm. As long as you are certain. On this side, as soon as Shangwan Dehui and Shangwan she left, Chong Yu couldn't wait to say, Mom, how did I do? Wasn't my performance great? Lin Fong smiled and said, Very good. It was fabulous. Chong Yu continued, Mom, did you see the clothes and jewelry on Shangwan Shi? When you marry into the Shangwan family, you can't play favorites. I want the same clothes and jewelry too. Lin Fong tapped Chong Yu's forehead. Silly girl, do I still need you to tell me that? Chong Yu was overjoyed. Her face was full of unhidden smiles, as if she had already become a little princess. On the second day, Li Xianxian came to a private clinic early in the morning. Are you sure you want to abort this child? The private clinic's doctor repeatedly confirmed with Li Xianxian. Yes, I'm sure. Li Xianxian nodded, her face pale. The doctor continued. Although abortion is a minor surgery, accidents may happen. If no family members can guarantee, I'm afraid we cannot perform the surgery for you. Li Xianxian said, I can be my own guarantor. That's not the way. The doctor shook his head. If an accident happens during the abortion procedure, it could cost both lives, and the doctor does not dare to take this risk. Unable to find a guarantor, Li Xianxian had no choice but to find Li Tingji. When Li Tingji received this call, he immediately turned to Mo Baichuan. Baichuan, has his sister-in-law called you? You're talking about Li Xianxian? Mo Baichuan tuned to look at Li Tingji. Yes. Li Tingji nodded. Mo Baichuan continued. What happened to her? Chapter 451. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. _1. Li Tingji looked at Mo Baichuan and continued. She's pregnant. These 4 short words made Mo Baichuan flabbergasted. There was a strange silence in the air. After a while, Mo Baichuan finally raised his head. What did you say? Li Tingji said word by word. Your sister-in-law. She's pregnant. Li Xianxian is pregnant? Mo Baichuan could hardly believe his own ears. He was the one who took Li Xianxian's innocence. Therefore, it was clear who the father of the child was. How could this happen? He thought that he and Li Xianxian would become strangers. But unexpectedly, Li Xianxian was actually pregnant. No wonder Li Xianxian insisted on breaking up with him. So she was holding this card all along. Mo Baichuan's expression became especially ugly. What does she want to do now? Want me to marry her? Mo Baichuan looked at Li Tingji with blatant scorn in his eyes. Li Tingji frowned. Baichuan, what do you mean by this? Mo Baichuan's face turned icy. From the very beginning, was all of this a scheme by Li Xianxian? Li Tingji exploded in anger. Mo Baichuan, do you still have conscience? Your sister-in-law has never thought about using the child to blackmail you. She wants to abort the child, and she is now in the hospital because the abortion procedure requires family consent. She has no friends or family in Beijing, so she had to find me. I was going to ask if you still wanted this child because this is your first child, but now it seems that you are just heartless and ungrateful. Li Xianxian had given up so much for Mo Baichuan, but in return, she only received suspicion from him. Was it worth it? She wants to abort the child? Mo Baichuan squinted his eyes. The child is the only trump card Li Xianxian holds. Would she really want to abort it? Li Tingji tried to calm down, then continued. Baichuan, I haven't known your sister-in-law for a long time, but I know that she is a really good girl. The child was an accident. If she really wanted to use the child to blackmail you, she wouldn't be in the hospital, but she would go to your family, your grandparents. This would be their first great-grandchild. Do you think they would neglect her? But she didn't. She didn't want to cause you any more trouble, she just wanted to silently abort the child. She didn't even have any family member around who could sign the consent forms, and yet she still had no complaints. But what about you? Instead of understanding her, you question her. Are you being fair to her? Mo Baichuan remained silent. He was now unsure whether or not Li Xianxian was putting on act. Li Tingji no longer wasted words with Mo Baichuan and continued. Your sister-in-law is at the private clinic on One-On Road number 69. Whether or not you want the child, it's all up to you. As your brother, I have said all I need to say. After saying this, Li Tingji turned and walked away. Mo Baichuan watched Li Tingji's retreating figure, his eyes filled with mixed emotions. He and Li Tingji had been brothers for over 20 years. He knew well that Li Tingji was not the sort of man who couldn't discern right from wrong. Could it be that he was the one who was mistaken? Mo Baichuan absently slumped into a chair, lighting a cigarette. Li Tingji rushed to the hospital without delay. Li Xianxian was sitting on a blue plastic chair, her face a bit pale. Sister-in-law. Li Tingji managed to say these two words with difficulty. Tingji. Li Xianxian lifted her head, looking behind Li Tingji. Mo Baichuan hadn't come, which was within Li Xianxian's expectations. Mo Baichuan was naturally suspicious. If he had followed Li Tingji here, it would have caused an issue instead. Li Xianxian nodded. I see. I'm sorry. Li Tingji looked full of regret. It was his fault. Li Xianxian had trust in him, and he had let her down. It's okay. Li Xianxian managed a bitter smile. Perhaps this is my fate. Fate? She never believed in fate. If she did, she wouldn't have managed to leave the mountains in the first place. She believed that after today, her fate would change for the better, bringing prosperity with it. This, Li Tingji wanted to continue, but Li Xianxian interrupted him. Go and sign the papers. Okay. Li Tingji nodded and headed toward the doctor's office to sign the paperwork, followed by Li Xianxian. As he was about to sign, he hesitated, looking at Li Xianxian with a wish to say something. The doctor said, I have something to attend to. Why don't you two discuss a bit more? Okay. Thank you, doctor. Li Tingji quickly expressed his thanks. Chapter 452. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. _2. After the doctor left, Li Ting looked at Li Xianxian, lowering his voice. Xianxian, please keep the child. I am willing to give you and your child a legitimate status. After all, Li Xianxian's first time was with him, which meant the child had a 50% chance of being his. As a potential father, how could he personally end his child's life? He couldn't do it. He couldn't overcome his own emotional barrier. Li Xianxian seemed to have perceived Li Ting's worries. This child is Baichuan's. You are so certain? Li Ting asked. Li Xianxian spoke. I'm the mother of the child, and I understand better than anyone else. Tingji, if you wish me happiness, it's best to forget about that night. We're just close friends to each other. Her words served as an indirect reminder to Li Ting that she was the victim that night when he forced himself on her. So, no matter whose child this was, the child's father could only be Mo Baichuan. Li Xianxian was a smart woman. She knew how to keep Li Ting at bay. People say that a woman in love has 0 IQ, but in reality, a man in love can be even more foolish. Like Li Ting sighed. Xianxian, have you really thought it through? Yes. Li Xianxian gave a slight nod. For the one I love, I have no regrets. Li Ting massaged his temple in agony, then signed his name on the guarantee letter. Looking at the signature on the guarantee letter, a calculating expression flashed in Li Xianxian's eyes. After a while, the doctor returned. Li Ting handed over the guarantee letter to the doctor. The doctor took the letter. So, have you two decided not to keep the child? You're mistaken. He's my brother. Li Xianxian corrected him. Brother. Hearing this, Li Ting's eyes were full of bitterness. Oh, the doctor nodded, then said, since you've decided, I have to make clear some precautions before the surgery. The abortion might affect your fertility in the future. It could even lead to infertility. Li Xianxian hesitated for a moment, then said, I am willing to take any consequences. All right, the doctor sighed. Let's prepare for the operation. Li Ting glanced at Li Xianxian, wanting to say something, but in the end, he remained silent. At the base, Mo Baichuan sat in his office, chain-smoking. In no time at all, the ashtray was filled with cigarette butts. After a while, he picked up the phone and dialed a number. Hello, check on Li Xianxian for me. After all, the child that Li Xianxian was carrying was his. Mo Baichuan couldn't be indifferent. About 10 minutes later, his phone rang again. Mo Baichuan picked up the call with a blank expression. How are things going? Li Xianxian is currently at a private clinic on One-On Road, lining up for an abortion. Mo Baichuan frowned slightly. Is Li Ting the guarantor? The guarantor is Mr. Li. Is the information accurate? Mo Baichuan asked. The person on the other end of the line confirmed it. The information is accurate. Li Xianxian is scheduled to have the operation in half an hour. Mo Baichuan continued. Keep an eye on her. All right. Soon, half an hour passed. The phone rang again. Ms. Li is in the operating room. The cigarette in Mo Baichuan's hand dropped to the floor at that moment. It seemed that Li Xianxian wasn't putting on a show for him. She was truly determined to abort the child. No, he couldn't let this happen. The child was innocent. Mo Baichuan's upbringing taught him that he couldn't commit such a conscienceless act. Li Xianxian lay on the cold operating table. The surgeon was a kind middle-aged woman in her 40s. Holding the surgical instruments, she asked with a tone of reluctance, Miss Li, are you sure about this? Was she really sure? Li Xianxian didn't know. She was gambling. She was gambling that Mo Baichuan would come. If Mo Baichuan didn't come, then all her efforts would have been in vain. Li Xianxian firmly gripped the sheets beneath her. Her knuckles had slowly turned white from the force. Doctor, could you give me a few more minutes to think? All right. The surgeon nodded. Outside, Li Ting sat anxiously on the blue plastic chair. Just then, Mo Baichuan burst in with a group of people. Seeing this, Li Ting's eyes brightened. He quickly stood up and said, Baichuan, you're here. Chapter 453. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. _3. Where is Xianxian? Mo Baichuan's expression was somewhat cold. Li Ting subtly pressed the pager in his pocket. Your sister-in-law has already entered the operating room. The pager is the precursor to the mobile phone, which cannot answer calls but only receives messages. In 1983, the first paging station in the country was opened in Xin City. In 1984, pagers began to appear in Beijing. There are dozens of types of pagers. Some look like a mini diary, small and delicate. Some were as light as a card, very portable. Some are like a ballpoint pen and could be put in the pocket of a jacket. Some are even made into brooches or necklaces and hung in front of the chest. Some are integrated with a watch and worn on the wrist. And the pager of Li Xianxian was similar to a ballpoint pen shape. After receiving Li Ting's message, Li Xianxian's eyes lit up and she said, Doctor, I have made up my mind. Please perform the surgery. Okay. The surgeon picked up the anesthetic injection. As the needle was just entering Li Xianxian's arm, someone kicked the door of the operating room open from outside. Stop! Mo Baichuan directly grabbed the injector. The surgeon was scared. Who are you? This is the operating room. Outsiders can't just come in. Out of the way. Mo Baichuan brushed the surgeon aside, lifted Li Xianxian from the operating table, and left the room as an assistant followed behind tidying up. Mo Baichuan then took Li Xianxian to a reputable hospital. Dr. Xiaolin, around his mid-20s, was a friend of Mo Baichuan. He patted Mo Baichuan's shoulder and said, Don't worry, there's nothing wrong with the fetus. The mother has been in a coma due to extreme shock. Mo Baichuan then asked, Xiaolin, how long has she been pregnant? Dr. Xiaolin answered, Over 2 weeks, almost 3. Based on calculations, the child was indeed his. Mo Baichuan's expression was indescribable and the crystal-clear face appeared before his eyes. Dr. Xiaolin, curious, asked, By the way, what is your relationship with this pregnant woman? Mo Baichuan didn't want to hide anymore and responded, I am the father of the child. Dr. Xiaolin was stunned as if he had heard something incredible. Seriously? Mo Baichuan was known to have a peculiar personality, aloof, and did not like mingling with girls. Many had sent him love letters during school, but all were ruthlessly rejected. Upon becoming a high-ranking official, no one could catch Mo Baichuan's eye. But now, someone was actually carrying Mo Baichuan's child. That was simply incredible. Mo Baichuan slightly nodded, yes, even though he didn't want it to be true, but it was the truth. Dr. Xiaolin then said, Baichuan, you're too much. You got married and didn't invite me. At this time, getting pregnant before marriage was not acceptable, so Dr. Xiaolin naturally assumed that they were already married. Mo Baichuan added, we are not married yet. No way. Dr. Xiaolin looked at him in shock. It was unimaginable that someone so disciplined would do something outrageous. Pregnancy out of wedlock. If it is bigger trouble, it can even be considered a hooligan crime. No, really, Dr. Xiaolin lowered his voice. Brother, what's going on? Mo Baichuan looked impassive. It's not something that can be explained in a few words. Do you plan to marry her? Asked Dr. Xiaolin. Mo Baichuan replied, barring any unexpected developments, the wedding should occur in the near future. Dr. Xiaolin said with a smile, don't forget to invite me to the banquet at that time. Okay. Mo Baichuan nodded, but there was no hint of a smile on his face. Marrying Li Xianxian was not about love, but responsibility. The two men chatted as they went outside, oblivious to the fact that Li Xianxian, who should have been unconscious, was now wide awake and filled with a triumphant expression. Had she finally waited for this day? Li Xianxian's hand quietly touched her abdomen. Child, you must make me proud. When Mo Baichuan reappeared in the ward, Li Xianxian was already awake. When she saw Mo Baichuan, she looked surprised and said, why are you here? She portrayed herself as if she had no clue about anything. If the Oscars were hosting at this moment, Li Xianxian would surely win an award. Mo Baichuan looked at Li Xianxian and said without expression, Li Xianxian, let's get married. Chapter 454. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. _4. Marriage. Li Xianxian furrowed her brows slightly. You already know about it? Yes. Mo Baichuan nodded. We have broken up already. The child inside me has nothing to do with you. I don't need you to be responsible. Please leave. Li Xianxian turned her face away, refusing to look at Mo Baichuan. Apparently, he had misjudged Li Xianxian. Guilt clouded Mo Baichuan's face. I've made my decision. We are getting married. I disagree. Li Xianxian bit her lip and continued. Baichuan, you are still young with a prosperous future up ahead. I don't want to trap you with this child. Please leave. I will not marry you. Li Xianxian knew Mo Baichuan too well. She knew what to do to make Mo Baichuan feel even more guilty. If she acted too dramatically at this point, Mo Baichuan would definitely be suspicious. If she flatly refused, Mo Baichuan would also grow suspicious. Therefore, Li Xianxian had to refuse this from the perspective of considering Mo Baichuan's best interest. No man would question a woman who wholeheartedly treated him well, especially a person as suspicious as Mo Baichuan. It's just a child. It won't affect my future, Mo Baichuan responded indifferently. Li Xianxian continued, I have made up my mind. I'm going to abort the child. Baichuan, I can't drag you down because of my selfish love. There aren't many people like Li Xianxian who so selflessly think of the person they love. People eventually have to get married anyway. It's better to choose a virtuous woman like Li Xianxian. These words from Li Xianxian further confirmed Mo Baichuan's desire to marry her. Xianxian, don't worry. I will take responsibility for you and the child. I will give you a complete home in the future. Mo Baichuan held Li Xianxian's hand emotionally. Li Xianxian was extremely excited inside, but showed hesitation on her face. But Mo Baichuan interrupted her directly. No buts. I will call my parents and notify them. By my calculations, they should arrive in Beijing no later than the day after tomorrow. Then, they'll take you to meet them. Li Xianxian looked at Mo Baichuan. Baichuan, are you really not going to regret it? I want. Mo Baichuan shook his head. Although Mo Baichuan said he wouldn't regret it. The image of a woman with beautifully painted features appeared once again before his eyes. Yang. If Yang found out about this, she would be heartbroken and might even take drastic actions. But nobody could be blamed for this. He had given Yang opportunities before. It was her who didn't cherish them. Now, it would be useless for Yang to regret. Xiaozhou informed Yang of Li Xiangxian's pregnancy as soon as he found out. Yang raised her eyebrows slightly. Is the child Mo Baichuan's? Xiaozhou didn't directly answer her question. Instead, he said, I don't know whose child it is, but Mo Baichuan believes it to be his and is even considering marrying Li Xianxian. Is that so? Yang smiled faintly. By the way, Yang also bought these pictures from a photography enthusiast. Xiaozhou handed a stack of pictures to Yang. Yang took them and flipped through them one by one. The corner of her mouth curled up faintly. He'll take all of these pictures. How much are they? Xiaozhou chuckled. These pictures are not expensive, and didn't you already pay me before? Yang took out 200 yuan and placed it on the table. Last time was last time, this time is this time. Li Xianxian is getting married. As her sixth aunt, she should prepare a generous gift, of course. She would definitely give Li Xianxian a big surprise on their wedding day. However, Xiaozhou refused. It's only a small favor. You really don't need to be so formal with me, Yang. Yang wasn't the type to take advantage. Laughing, she said, Xiaozhou, just take it. I have something else to ask you for. If you don't accept this, I won't have the heart to ask. Upon hearing this, Xiaozhou had to accept. What else do you need, Yang? Just say it. Yang continued. Can you get the Zheng family's contact information from your side? Xiaozhou thought for a while, then said, Do you mean the Zheng family that's on good terms with the Mo family? Yang nodded yes. Xiaozhou said, That's easy. After a pause, he continued, Did you know that the Zheng family lost a daughter a long time ago? I'm not sure if they found her. The Zheng family lost a daughter? Yang was surprised. Xiaozhou continued, Actually, Zheng Lingling is not the biological daughter of the old Mrs. Zheng. The old Mrs. Zheng's real daughter went missing more than 30 years ago. As it turns out, Zheng Lingling was her sister's daughter. After her sister's family suffered an unexpected tragedy, she entrusted Zheng Lingling to Mrs. Zheng, coincidentally around the same time that Mrs. Zheng's own daughter went missing. Old Madame Mo chimed in. Xiao Jiao is right. Romping, even if you beat Baichuan to death now, it wouldn't change the situation. We should discuss when I hold the wedding. Regardless, the child in Xiangxian's belly is the first heir of our Mo family. In wealthy households like theirs, the first child always holds significant meaning. Mo Romping sighed deeply, dropped the whip at hand, and continued, How can we decide this matter unilaterally? We should invite the girl's parents to discuss together. Mo Romping was not the type of person who disregarded proper etiquette. Old Madame Mo added, You don't have to worry about that. Xianxian is an orphan without any family. Let Baichuan bring Xianxian here tomorrow. Mo Romping nodded. That should be fine. Xiao Jiao said, Now that she's pregnant, we cannot delay the wedding. The sooner the better, otherwise when she starts to show, others will laugh at our Mo family for lacking discipline and decorum. Originally, Xiao Jiao didn't like Li Xianxian. She thought Li Xianxian was too vain and not a good match for Mo Baichuan. But now, even if she was dissatisfied, she had no choice but to accept it. The next day, Mo Baichuan brought Li Xianxian home to meet his parents. This time, Li Xianxian behaved very well and did not use her pregnancy as an excuse to be difficult, which changed Mo Baichuan's parents' impression of her. Moreover, Li Xianxian is a poor child with no parents. Xiao Jiao held Li Xiangxian's hand and said, Xianxian, the first 3 months of pregnancy are the most critical. You must take care of your health, avoid catching a cold or taking medications, avoid getting angry, maintain a happy mood, and also be careful with your diet. You cannot have hawthorn, spinach, strong tea, or coffee. Li Xianxian doesn't have a mother, So these things must be taught by her mother-in-law. Li Xianxian nodded obediently. Okay, Annie, it'll keep that in mind. Xiao Jiao was fairly satisfied with her future daughter-in-law. She continued, now that you're carrying a child, it's not appropriate for you to stay in a dormitory. I have a small villa on Holly Mile Road, where you can stay temporarily during this time. Chapter 456. The mantis stalks the cicada, unaware of the oriole behind. _6. Li Xianxian laughed and said, Annie, I'm not that high maintenance. Staying in a dorm is fine. No way. Xiao Jiao shook her head. There are too many people in the school. It will be troublesome if you bumped into someone. I've hired 2 servants in that small villa. They'll take care of your daily needs. After all, what Li Xianxian was carrying in her belly was her first grandchild. How could Xiao Jiao not put importance on it? Li Xianxian then said, Auntie, you really don't have to go through so much trouble. It's settled then. You don't need to refuse. Xiao Jiao directly shoved the key into Li Xianxian's hand. Li Xianxian knew that it would be ungrateful to refuse at this point, so she laughed and said, Thank you, Auntie. We're family now. There's no need to be so polite. Xiao Jiao continued. As for the school, we've already arranged your leave of absence. The wedding will be taken care of by me and Baichuan's father. During this period, you just need to focus on your pregnancy. Thank you, Uncle and Auntie. Xiao Jiao held Li Xianxian's hand and talked a lot more. Li Xianxian knew how to make people happy. With a few words, Xiao Jiao dropped all her prejudices. From an angle where Xiao Jiao couldn't see, a glint of triumph flashed in Li Xianxian's eyes. She finally entered the doors of the Mo family. The news of Mo Baichuan getting married to Li Xianxian spread throughout the entire upper-class society in less than a day. Mo Baichuan getting married? Upon hearing the news, Zhang Xianjing was devastated. What the hell is going on? Didn't Mo Baichuan just dump Li Xianxian? How could they be getting married in the blink of an eye? Is she dreaming? Zhang Xianjing pinched herself hard. It hurt a lot. She wasn't dreaming. No, she couldn't just sit around and wait for death. She had to take action. Zhang Xianjing narrowed her eyes, grabbed her bag, and headed downstairs. As soon as she got down, she saw Zhang Lingling rushing in from outside. Xianjing, something terrible happened. Zhang Lingling grabbed Zhang Xianjing's hand, looked around, and said, Let's go inside to talk. Okay. Zhang Xianjing nodded. The mother and daughter went inside. Zhang Lingling closed the door. Xianjing, Baichuan, and Li Xianxian are getting married. I already know about this. Zhang Xianjing seemed relatively calm. Mom, don't panic, they're just getting married. As long as they're not married yet, I still have chance. Zhang Lingling frowned. It's not as simple as you think. What do you mean? Zhang Lingling continued. I went to the Mo's this morning. Your grandma, Mo, quietly told me that Li Xianxian is pregnant. What? Zhang Xianjing's face turned pale. Pregnant. She never imagined that Li Xianxian would get pregnant. No wonder they are in such a hurry to get married. So it turns out there's a bun in the oven. Didn't they just break up a few days ago? How could she get pregnant so quickly? That little bitch Li Xianxian. How could she be so shameless? Zhang Lingling sighed. How smart she is. She knows the principle of mother being noble by her son. Why didn't we think of this method? If she had known about the principle of mother being noble by her son, she should have tried to get Zhang Xianjing pregnant. Zhang Xianjing was nearly suffocated, with mixed feelings in her heart. It took her a great deal of effort to find out who Mr. Mog was, and now the prize was snatched away by someone else when it was nearly in her grasp. Mom, what if Li Xianxian's baby were to accidentally be lost? Would she still have a chance of marrying into the Mo family? Zhang Xianjing hatched a plan and turned to look at Zhang Lingling, her eyes filled with malicious intent. Li Xianxian gained nobility by her child? If there's no child, how could she be noble? Zhang Xianjing wouldn't let anyone steal the throne of Mrs. Mog. Zhang Lingling narrowed her eyes. Xianjing, you mean? Zhang Xianjing nodded. Zhang Lingling continued. This matter sounds easy, but it's not so easy to do. Once we're discovered, we'll be in big trouble. At this moment, there was a knock on the door from outside. The mother and daughter immediately stopped talking. Who is it? The voice of the servant came from outside. Madam, it's me. Someone on the phone is looking for Miss Xianjing. Who's looking for me? Zhang Xianjing asked. She was not in a mood to take a call right now. The servant continued, a Mr. Mog. Mr. Mog? Could be M.O. Baichuan? Zhang Xianjing brightened up and immediately said, they'll come down right now. Zhang Xianjing came downstairs and carefully picked up the phone. Hello? But the voice that came was not M.O. Baichuan's, but a deep and mellow voice, as if the person was speaking right beside her. Miss Zhang, hello. Who are you? Zhang Xianjing frowned slightly, losing much of her enthusiasm upon realizing the caller wasn't M.O. Baichuan. The other side chuckled. It doesn't matter who I am. What matters is that I can help you. Who exactly are you? Zhang Xianjing was getting impatient. I don't have time to play riddles with you. As I said, I'm someone who can help you. I don't need your help. Saying this, Zhang Xianjing was about to hang up the phone. But the person on the other end, as if knowing that Zhang Xianjing wanted to hang up, continued, Miss Zhang, don't be in a rush to hang up. I know a secret about Li Xianxian that no one else knows. About Li Xianxian's unknown secret. Of course, Zhang Xianjing wanted to listen. Go ahead. There was another chuckle from the other end. Miss Zhang should understand that there is no such thing as a free lunch, right? What do you mean? Quid pro quo. He continued, 30,000 yuan for Li Xianxian's hidden secret. 30,000 yuan is not a small sum. Currently, the financial power was still in the hands of old lady Zhang. It would not be easy for Zhang Xianjing to get the money. Zhang Xianjing remained silent, her eyes thoughtful. The person on the other end of the phone continued, strike the snake at its weakest point. This secret is Li Xianxian's weak point. Miss Zhang, don't you want to take a gamble? Or do you want to just watch Li Xianxian marry M.O. Baichuan? Regardless of whether the secret was Li Xianxian's weak point or not, the mysterious man's words successfully hit Zhang Xianjing's weak point. She absolutely could not let Li Xianxian steal M.O. Baichuan away. Who are you exactly? Zhang Xianjing narrowed her eyes. Why should I believe you? Chapter 457. Zhang Xianjing took the bait, making money to support our Mr. Mo's family. _1. Zhang Xianjing was not a fool. She could not just believe in the authenticity of this man's words based on one phone call. What if he was a scammer? 30,000 yuan was not a small sum. She was the honorable young lady of the Zhang family. If word got out that she had been scammed, what face would she have to show in her circle? Miss Zhang doesn't believe me? I don't even know who you are. How do you expect me to believe you? Zhang Xianjing retorted. The man chuckled. The chance to overthrow Li Xianxian only comes once. Whether or not you can seize this opportunity is up to Miss Zhang. He added, my surname is M.O. If Miss Zhang trusts me, please send 30,000 yuan to Qingyi Detective Agency within 10 days. With that, he abruptly hung up the phone. Zhang Xianjing looked at the disconnected call. Looking confused, she quickly dialed back, only to find the line was busy. Xianjing, who was that on the phone? Zheng Lingling came down from upstairs. Just a casual friend. Zhang Xianjing calmly replied, scanning the surroundings, then continued. Mom, boo. Just then, a figure suddenly jumped beside them, pulling a scary face. The mother-daughter pair was significantly startled. Especially Zheng Lingling, her face turned pale, and she reached out to hit Zheng Suyu. Catching sight of the old lady, Zheng at the top of the stairs, her expression changed. She giggled. Aunt Suyu, all right? Xianjing, and I didn't scare you, did we? Zheng Suyu grinned foolishly. Fun, so much fun. Zhang Xianjing took Zheng Suyu by the arm and said, Aunt Grandma, let me take you back to rest. Zhang Xianjing turned into a considerate niece, helping Zheng Suyu upstairs. Stars, such beautiful stars. Ah, ghost. You are a ghost. You want to hurt me. Zheng Suyu suddenly screamed and shoved Zhang Xianjing away, running towards the old lady Zhang's room. A ghost wants to hurt me. Watching help. Aunt Grandma. Impatience flashed in Zhang Xianjing's eyes as she chased after her. Suyu. Old Mrs. Zhang opened the door, reaching out to hold Zhang Suyu's hand. Zhang Suyu hid behind old lady Zhang, visibly trembling, her eyes filled with terror as she looked at Zhang Xianjing, a primal fear radiating from within her. Strangely enough, ever since Zhang Suyu lost her sanity, she saw everyone as a ghost, except for old lady Zhang. She could even remember her name. Grandma, Zhang Xianjing respectfully said. Old Mrs. Zhang nodded, looking at Zhang Suyu. Don't be afraid, Suyu. This is Xianjing. Do you remember Xianjing? She is your great niece. Zhang Suyu was on the verge of tears, her voice trembling as she said, Ghost. She's a ghost. Old Mrs. Zhang sighed, holding in a severe cough. Xianjing, your aunt grandma is like this. Don't take offense. Zhang Xianjing acted understanding. Grandma, I know, we are all a family. How could I blame Aunt Grandma? Cough, cough, cough. Old Mrs. Zhang couldn't hold back her coughing. She covered her mouth with a handkerchief, coughing violently. Grandma, are you okay? Zhang Xianjing started patting old Mrs. Zhang's back. Zhang Suyu, frightened, retreated several steps, hiding under the table, warily looking at Zhang Xianjing. Old Mrs. Zhang was coughing so hard her face turned pale. After a while, her coughing stopped. She continued, It's nothing, just an old ailment. After 3 years of coughing, old Mrs. Zhang had become accustomed to it. However, her condition in recent times was far worse than in the previous 2 years. She always felt her end was nearing, but she kept telling herself to persist. Her daughter was still missing. Zhang Suyu hadn't recovered. In this state, even in death, she wouldn't be able to rest in peace. Madam, Dr. Jiang is here. A servant entered with an elderly person. Dr. Jiang was a woman in her 50s or 60s, an old friend of old Mrs. Zhang. With her excellent medical skills and old Mrs. Zhang's trust in her, she had been serving as the personal doctor for old Mrs. Zhang, helping her regulate her body over the years. Aunt Jiang. Zhang Lingling immediately greeted her. Dr. Jiang nodded. Lingling, where's the old lady? Zhang Lingling looked at Dr. Jiang. My mom is upstairs. They'll take you to her. Okay. Dr. Jiang nodded. Chapter 458. Zhang Xianjing took the bait, making money to support our Mr. Mo. _2. As Zhang Lingling ascended the stairs, she turned to Dr. Jiang and said, Dr. Jiang, my mother's cough has gotten worse recently. As a daughter, it breaks my heart to see this. Can we do anything to relieve her cough and speed up her recovery? Dr. Jiang replied, Your mother's chronic cough, compounded by her old age and deteriorating health, won't improve overnight. It requires gradual treatment. Zhang Lingling nodded her agreement. As they climbed up the stairs, she took the initiative to steady Dr. Jiang's arm. Mom, Dr. Jiang is here. Zhang Lingling knocked on the door. Come in, came Mrs. Zhang's voice from inside. Zhang Lingling entered the room with Dr. Jiang. Xiaoyan. Mrs. Zhang rose to meet them. Zhang Xianjing followed suit and greeted her. Dr. Jiang nodded in acknowledgement, then turned to Mrs. Zhang with concern. Qing, I heard from Lingling that your cough has worsened. Laughing, Mrs. Zhang said, It's not as bad as Lingling has made out. Zhang Lingling looked at Xianjing and suggested, Xianjing, let's take your great aunt out so that Dr. Jiang and Grandma can talk. All right. Xianjing squatted down gently. Great Aunt Suyu, shall we go out? You are a devil. You want to hurt me. Suyu burst into tears, terrified. Zhang Lingling squatted down, coaxing. Aunt Suyu, shall we take you out for some candy? Yes. Suyu brightened up. Candy. Candy. Mother and daughter cajoled Aunt Suyu and managed to lead her out. Mrs. Zhang heaved a helpless sigh. Dr. Jiang inquired, Didn't a self-proclaimed divine doctor who could cure Suyu come a while ago? From my observation, Suyu's condition hasn't improved at all. Recalling something, Mrs. Zhang burst out. Divine doctor, my foot. He was nothing but a fraudster. Upon hearing this, Dr. Jiang patted Mrs. Zhang's hand reassuringly. Suyu has her own fate. She will surely recover. I hope so. Mrs. Zhang sighed again. Dr. Jiang continued. By the way, Qing, have you heard anything about Tingting lately? No. Mrs. Zhang shook her head. It has been over 30 years. It wouldn't be that easy to find her. I'll be frank, I've given up hope. Dr. Jiang glanced at Mrs. Zheng, a hint of knowing sparkle in her eyes. No hope? Then why did she secretly send here for DNA testing? What old friends? What lifelong sisterhood? It's all a facade. If Mrs. Zheng considered her as a dear friend, she wouldn't keep secrets from her. Dr. Jiang narrowed her eyes subtly. Although you say that, you should still continue your search. After all, Ting is your biological daughter. Lingling, despite being raised by you, isn't your flesh and blood. The proverb, our own children are our precious jewels, holds truer than ever. Dr. Jiang glanced at Mrs. Zheng, changing her tone. But speaking from my heart, Lingling is an exemplary and filial daughter who cares deeply about your health every time I visit. Mrs. Zheng nodded. Indeed, Lingling is a good daughter. Dr. Jiang extracted a stethoscope from her medical bag and began to examine Mrs. Zheng. Changing the topic. Ching, have you been taking your medicine on time recently? Yes, always on time. Dr. Jiang continued. Has your toilet routine been normal? Yes, normal. After asking a few more questions, Dr. Jiang's smile faded. A look of concern clouded her face. Is my condition bad? Mrs. Zheng looked at Dr. Jiang. No. Dr. Jiang shook her head. Don't worry too much. You're in good health. Mrs. Zheng wasn't a fool. She had already perceived the answer from Dr. Jiang's expression. Xiaoyan, I'm now in my 60s and have weathered many storms. You can tell me straight. There's no need to tiptoe around it. Really, it's nothing. Dr. Jiang smilingly responded. Ching, you worry too much. I remember when you were younger, you would always fight and make a fuss with Zheng Jun because of this. Upon mentioning youth, Mrs. Zheng's face lit up with a faint smile. She appeared lost in old memories, as if back in those days. Back then, Ting was still here, so you hadn't gone mad yet. Their family was so happy. Chapter 459. Zheng Xianjing takes the bait, earning money to support our Mr. Mo's family. _3. Dr. Jiang continued. Oh, speaking of which, where is Zheng Jun? He should be in the Xiaohua garden. Zheng Jun is a typical scholar, tending to his books and plants every day. All domestic matters, big or small, were taken care of by Madame Zheng. Especially after their only daughter went missing, he practically stopped caring about everything. How many years have passed? Dr. Jiang sighed. He's still the same. You've broken your heart for this family, while he behaves as if nothing's wrong. If not for Madame Zheng, the family would have fallen apart long ago. He's suffering inside. Their only daughter was lost, and the youngest sister went mad. No one knows the agony Zheng Jun suffers beneath his placid facade. He's suffering? You tell me. Aren't you suffering too? Dr. Jiang continued. You really are lucky, Zheng Jun, to have such a wonderful wife. Madame Zheng chuckled. Xiaoyan, be honest with me. How's my health really? I've lived long enough to bear pretty much anything. You're really fine. Stop overthinking, Dr. Chao said while writing out a prescription. Madame Zheng turned to Dr. Jiang. Xiaoyan, do you remember how old Lingling was when you first brought her home? Dr. Jiang gave it some thought. She was around 7, I think. I remember you had just lost Ting, and Lingling's arrival helped you out of your grief. Zheng Lingling wasn't originally a Zheng. Her name was Chao Lingrue, Madame Zheng's sister's daughter. A plane crash took away both of Lingling's parents. The disaster came so suddenly that Madame Zheng didn't even have time to bid her sister and brother-in-law one last goodbye. Not even their remains were found. Fortunately, Zheng Lingling wasn't on that plane. After the disaster, Dr. Jiang crossed half the Pacific to bring Lingling to Madame Zheng's side. Both of them, one lost her parents, and the other lost her only daughter. Having shared this sympathetic experience and being kin, Madame Zheng transferred all her affection from her biological daughter to Lingling. She would welcome others with a smile in the day, like nothing was wrong, and would only sob in silence when the night was deep and still. Yes, Madame Zheng looked out the window, an indescribable look in her eyes. It's been 33 years in the blink of an eye. Lingling has grown up, and Xianjing is now 19. I don't have any more reservations. Qing, you need to continue searching for Tingting. Dr. Jiang patted Madame Zheng's hand. Well, let fate decide. Dr. Jiang continued. Qing, at least you're better off than me. You have a daughter. Even though Lingling isn't blood-related, she's so devoted. What about me? I fear when I die, no one will even know, just like Ms. Zhang. Ms. Zhang is a renowned figure in their circle. She was very modern and romantic in her youth, pursuing the spiritual world. She never married and died at 55 from a sudden heart attack. She fell into a coma in her villa, and because there were no relatives or friends nearby, she wasn't rescued in time, resulting in her death. Her death was only discovered a week later when the smell of her body started to permeate. Older people without family or children tend to overthink and live in constant fear. That won't happen. Madame Zheng comforted Dr. Jiang and patted her hand. Stop thinking nonsense. You still have your thoughtful nephews and nieces. Dr. Jiang sighed. Qing, I've recently thought about drawing up my will. Drawing up a will? Madame Zheng looked unbelieving. Dr. Jiang was her age, about 61 this year, but was much healthier and had no known illnesses. Even she hadn't yet thought about drawing up her will. Why was Dr. Jiang doing so? Outside the door, Zhang Xianjing, holding a tray with tea, was about to knock and enter. She stopped in her tracks and held her breath, listening to the conversation inside. Dr. Jiang chuckled. Honestly, I don't have much money, just a 5-figure number in my bank account, which is nothing to you. Dr. Jiang is an average doctor without a distinguished background. She was just an ordinary person before meeting Madame Zheng. Though it's just a few 10,000s of yuan, for an ordinary person, it's still a huge sum. After all, a bowl of noodles only costs 3 cents at this time. Speaking of which, Qing, have you ever considered drawing up a will? Dr. Jiang asked. Accidents happen when you least expect them. Given the size of Zheng family fortunes, it's better to plan these things in advance. Chapter 460. Zheng Xianjing took the bait, making money to support our Mr. Mo. _4. Hearing this, Zheng Xianjing's heart jumped in her throat. Madame Zheng nodded. To be honest, I've been considering this matter recently. Dr. Jiang said, you don't really need to think about this. Tingting is your biological daughter. All the Zheng family's property should naturally go to her. Zheng Tingting? A cold light flashed in Zheng Xianjing's eyes. This Dr. Jiang was certainly a troublemaker. Zheng Tingting had been dead for hundreds of years. Why mention her now? Madame Zheng laughed. Lingling is also my daughter. I can't leave all the property to just Tingting. I've decided if we find Tingting, it'll split the wealth equally, half for Tingting and half for Lingling. They're both my daughters. I want favor one over the other. Madame Zheng was a good mother. Although Zheng Lingling wasn't her biological daughter, she raised her with her own hands. In her heart, Lingling made no difference from her own birth child, so she would treat them fairly. Dr. Jiang smiled. Lingling is fortunate to have such a good aunt. In my heart, she has long been my own daughter. Own daughter? A mocking glint flashed in Zheng Xianjing's eyes outside the door. If this old witch seriously thought of Zheng Lingling as her own daughter, then she wouldn't be leaving only half the property to Zheng Lingling. After all, the one who's been by Madame Zheng's side all these years, showing filial piety, was Zheng Lingling. Zheng Tingting hasn't contributed anything. She didn't even call her mother. Why is she entitled to half of Zheng Lingling's inheritance? All of the Zheng family's properties should belong to Zheng Lingling. Adopted ones are never as close as real ones. Zheng Xianjing bit her lip. Her face darkened. Dr. Jiang continued. Qing, we must be prepared for all scenarios. What if you can't find Tingting? Madame Zheng continued. If we can't find her, he'll donate all the money to the orphanage in Tingting's name. This could also be seen as accumulating blessings for the child Tingting. Donate to the orphanage? Madame Zheng would rather donate it to the orphanage than leave it to Zheng Lingling. Such a good mother indeed. Zheng Xianjing was almost furious to death. So all these years, she and Zheng Lingling's efforts were in vain. This old hag is an ungrateful wretch. At the moment, all Zheng Xianjing wanted to do was to barge into the room and splash the hot tea in her hand all over that old witch's face to wake her up. Otherwise, she would never know right from wrong. Dr. Jiang nodded. "Ah-Ching, you've thought it through." The conversation inside was still going on, but Zheng Xianjing had heard the most important part. She hurried back to her room, telling Zheng Lingling everything she had heard. Upon hearing the news, Zheng Lingling said coldly, "I knew that old witch wasn't easy to deal with. After all, she wasn't born from the old hag's womb. No matter how good she was to that old witch, she wouldn't pay it back." But Zheng Lingling couldn't make peace. Why? She had been serving this old witch so carefully for so many years. And in the end, it turned out that she had to compete with a dead person for property. How ridiculous. "Mom, what should we do now?" Zheng Xianjing was getting anxious. She didn't want to give up what was hers to someone else. Zheng Lingling said, "We don't need to rush on this matter. The immediate concern is how to stop the wedding of Li Xianxian and Mo Baichuan. Once you're married to Mr. Mog, that old witch won't dare to look down on us." Zheng Xianjing nodded. "Mom, you're right. But what should I do now?" The issue of Li Xianxian and the will were entangled together, and it made Zheng Xianjing's head swell. Zheng Lingling said, "We need to think it through. Getting Li Xianxian to Miss Scary isn't easy." As if remembering something, Zheng Xianjing said, "Oh yes, Mom." She told Zheng Lingling about the phone call from Mr. Mo. "Mom, what do you think?" Zheng Xianjing was still undecided. She didn't know whether she should believe that Mr. Mo. Zheng Lingling squinted her eyes. "Xianjing, how about we take a gamble?" "Mom." Zheng Lingling calmly took a sip of water. "If we win the gamble, you can marry Mr. Mog. If we lose, we'll just be out 30,000 yuan. Spending 30,000 yuan to buy the ultimate honor is worth it." When I got to the door, Dr. Jiang stopped. "This is far enough." She then seemed to recall something and took a bottle of medicine out her bag. "I almost forgot. This medicine is very effective against coughing. Lingling, just put half a pill in the chicken soup when you're making it." Lingling very solemnly took the bottle and said, "Thank you for your trouble, Dr. Jiang." Dr. Jiang laughed and said, "Your mother and I have been as close as sisters for many years. There's no need for such courtesy." Lingling continued, "Dr. Jiang, are you free tomorrow morning? I have a friend who isn't feeling well, and I want to bring her over tomorrow." "Sure. We'll see you tomorrow morning then." "Goodbye, Dr. Jiang." Lingling pushed Xianjing. "Say goodbye to Granny Jiang." Xianjing carelessly said, "Goodbye, Granny Jiang." As soon as Dr. Jiang left, Lingling scolded Xianjing angrily. "Xianjing, this is a warning. From now on, you will not disrespect Granny Jiang." Xianjing sniffed dismissively and replied, "What's the point in you being so nice to her? You don't know what she says about you behind your back." Dr. Jiang clearly wasn't a good person. She said one thing to your face and another behind your back. Lingling breathed out a sigh and gravely said, "Regardless, Granny Jiang is your elder. Remember to show her respect." "She's hardly an elder," Xianjing muttered. "More like a shit stirrer." Lingling's expression darkened. "Xianjing, do you remember who you are?" "Sorry, Mum, I was wrong." Lingling carried on. "Do you know that if you keep acting like this, people will say that you have no manners?" Xianjing responded, "Mom, I only act like this around you. I never act this way around other people." Lingling sternly said, "You're not allowed to behave this way around me either. Habits form naturally." Chapter 462. Zheng Xianjing took the bait, making money to support our Mr. Mo. _6. "Oh, I understand now. I want Dare to do it again." Zheng Xianjing still had a decent attitude in admitting her wrongs, so Zheng Lingling didn't say much more. She turned around and walked into the house with Zheng Xianjing. Just as they entered the house, Zheng Lingling busied herself with making chicken soup for the old Madame Zheng in the kitchen. Zheng Xianjing was speechless. After all that old hag had done to them, she couldn't believe that Zheng Lingling was still so nice to her. She must be out of her mind. Phrase. In her opinion, she should replace all the medicine in the bottle with poison and kill that old hag. and Ai Young walked out of the public phone booth, the corners of her mouth curling into a light curve. Her dimples, shallow and charming, seemed to absorb everyone around. Her radiance outshone even the clouds in the sky. She walked all the way to the detective agency. Xiaozhou was currently fiddling with an old-fashioned phonograph, completely unaware of Ai Yang's arrival. Is it not working? Ai Yang approached Xiaozhou. Startled by the sudden comment, Xiaozhou turned to see Ai Yang and broke into a smile. It's not exactly that it doesn't function. It's just that the sound produced seems off, like a saw being drawn. Let me have a look. Ai Yang walked to the front of the phonograph. This was a very ancient phonograph. With its swan neck-like bend and large horn, it resembled a blooming trumpet flower, prideful and elegant. The large horn was made of pure copper, highly wear-resistant and non-fading. It was perfectly complemented by an elegant, traditional wooden cabinet. This type of phonograph originated from the Republic era. A few of them could still be found in the 1980s in China. In later generations, they all became precious antiques only seen in museums and with collectors. In her former life, Ai Yang didn't have many hobbies. Collecting phonographs was one of the few. She fiddled with it for a while, put on the disc, pressed the start button, and instantly melodious music flowed from the large horn. The night in Shanghai, the night in Shanghai, you are a city that never sleeps. The lights are up. It's all song and dance, Xiaozhou exclaimed in surprise. That's amazing. Yang, you're really something. You even know how to repair phonographs. In these times, the most popular gadgets were radios. All the trendy boys and girls had radios in their hands, with a pair of earphones plugged into their ears. They couldn't have looked cooler. Earphones entered China around the end of the Qing dynasty when telegraph machines came into existence. Now, hardly anyone bothered with big, heavy, old-fashioned gadgets like phonographs. Xiaozhou sometimes found it hard to figure out Ai Yang. This girl, younger and slimmer than him, but far more capable, seemed to harbor many secrets. Ai Yang laughed lightly. It's not that I'm amazing. It's just that I've studied it a bit. Xiaozhou walked over and poured Ai Yang a cup of water. Yang, you must have something important to discuss. And that's why you came over, right? Ai Yang took the cup with both hands. You guessed it correctly. Xiaozhou grinned and asked, What's up? Tell me about it. Ai Yang took a sip of tea. In the next few days, someone might send some money to Mr. Mog. When they do, just tell them he's out. You'll take care of the delivery, but keep the money for me. It wouldn't be appropriate for her to handle this in person, so Xiaozhou would have to help. Sending money to Mr. Mog? Ai Yang nodded slightly. This Mr. Mog is you? Xiaozhou asked further. It's me. Ai Yang replied with a smile in her eyes. Xiaozhou couldn't resist teasing. Are you getting married and following your husband's title? Ai Yang answered with a faint smile. I suppose you could say that. Turning his eyes to the screen, Xiaozhou cleared his throat and continued. The rumors about Mo Qishan are not good. Yang, are you sure you want him to be your boyfriend? Ai Yang retorted, What others think doesn't matter to me. If I like him, that's enough. She genuinely didn't care. Reborn in a new life, she wanted to live life to the fullest and not be bound by restrictions. She wasn't willing to miss out on the people she loved because there wouldn't be another life after this. But once Mo Qishan leaves the Mo family, he's nothing. Xiaozhou went on. Yang, you're so outstanding. You deserve someone better. Mo Qishan was known for his worthlessness, idleness, and even a broken engagement, totally ruining his reputation. Xiaozhou was somewhat puzzled. Why was Ai Yang interested in him? Ai Yang said very seriously, In my eyes, he is the best. Xiaozhou added, Do you know why Zheng Xianjing and Li Xianxian both want to marry Mo Baichuan? I don't know. Ai Yang shook her head. Next, Xiaozhou shared, According to my investigation, there is a high possibility that Mo Baichuan is actually Mr. Mog. Now do you understand why they're scheming to marry Mo Baichuan? Oh, Ai Yang nodded. Just like that. What did that mean? Why was Ai Yang's reaction so calm? Don't you find it surprising? Xiaozhou asked. Why should I be surprised? Ai Yang quirked an eyebrow and asked back. Xiaozhou shot back. This is Mr. Mog. Do you understand what Mr. Mog represents in Beijing? I understand. And I Yang responded, "It pretty much means supreme and unparalleled, doesn't it?" In the future, Mr. Mog's existence was still very mysterious, with a business empire under his control. He was respected and sought after by all, but it was weird that no financial newspaper had ever published anything about him. And I Yang was taken aback that Mo Baichuan turned out to be Mr. Mog. No wonder Li Xianxian was determined to marry him. Since Li Xianxian was reborn from a later era, she might have uncovered some secrets unknown to others. Knowing this, why are you still so calm? Xiaozhou was a loss, and I Yang shrugged. Whether or not he is Mr. Mog doesn't concern me. Should I react dramatically? Xiaozhou continued. When it comes to talent and looks, both you and Mr. Mog are head and shoulders above Li Xianxian and Zhang Xianjing. I think only you are worthy of Mr. Mog. Aren't you interested? And I Yang, who had just taken a sip of water, almost choked upon hearing this. She spat out all the water in her mouth onto the ground. I'm not interested in him at all, so don't talk nonsense. Xiaozhou replied quite seriously, but I really do think that you and Mr. Mog are a good match. And I Yang retorted, I'm only interested in Mo Qishan. Is that clear? She didn't really care about Mr. Mog or any of his titles. What I Yang found puzzling was that the narcissistic Mo Baichuan turned out to be Mr. Mog, which totally overturned her understanding of him. It was quite inconceivable. Xiaozhou thought An Yang was just too strange. She would rather become involved with a loser uncle than look at a promising nephew. Xiaozhou pointed out, but Mo Qishan isn't deserving of you at all. He doesn't even have a job, hasn't even graduated from high school. What will he support you with in the future? It doesn't matter if he doesn't have a job. I have money and that's enough. I can support him. And I Yang replied directly. Chapter 463. I am Mr. Mog _1. And I Yang is a very pragmatic person. She knows that most of the reasons for breakups between men and women in this world are rooted in the trivialities of life. All love ultimately disappears in these trivialities. However, as long as one's financial condition keeps up, all problems are no problems. If the woman is weaker in terms of finance, her status in family life will be inferior. If the woman takes up the major economic role, instantly the tables can turn. This is also the main reason why N.I. Yang doesn't rely on men, because there's no better sense of security than relying on oneself. Therefore, she doesn't think there's anything wrong with her supporting Mo Qishan. Xiaozhou felt that his whole worldview was being overturned by N.I. Yang. She supports him? N.I. Yang is actually going to support Mo Qishan. If you look all over Beijing, you probably won't find a second woman willing to support a man, right? Yang, you're not joking with me, are you? Xiaozhou swallowed and turned to look at the screen. And I Yang's eyes were indifferent. What's there to joke about? When you really fall in love with someone, you're willing to give everything for them. Invisibly, Xiaozhou was being shown up by N.I. Yang and suffered a huge romantic blow. Why is he still alone? He also wanted to find a girlfriend who was willing to support him. Whimper. N.I. Yang laughed and said, It's normal for you, a bachelor, not to understand all this. When you have a girlfriend, you'll understand my words today. Bachelor what? Dog? He already felt pitiful enough for being single. Why did she call him a dog? Xiaozhou was heartbroken. If he's the bachelor dog, what is N.I. Yang doing? Killing the dog? N.I. Yang spoke too quickly for a moment and accidentally used a popular phrase from the future and quickly remedied it with, a bachelor. Aren't you single? Bachelor? Did he mishear out of sadness? Yang, didn't you just say a single dog? N.I. Yang laughed. Xiaozhou, are you stupid? Who would call themselves a dog? Xiaozhou touched his head. Although what N.I. Yang said seemed reasonable, he felt something wrong, but he couldn't quite put his finger on it. Xiaozhou temporarily forgot about the dog question and continued. Yang, you're not joking with me, are you? You really want to support Mo Qishan? N.I. Yang raised her eyebrows slightly. Do I look like I'm joking? Xiaozhou shook his head, his gaze unconsciously sliding from the screen. No. He then continued. But don't all you girls like men with power and status like Mr. Mog? Xiaozhou had seen all sorts of people. He had even seen girls at the age of 18 throwing themselves at men of 80. Mo Baichuan was not only rich and handsome, but also the famous Mr. Mog. And Ai Yang had no reason not to like him. And Ai Yang frowned slightly. You're generalizing with your statement. Actually, not every girl likes men with power and status. And Ai Yang had seen too many girls in her previous life who'd rather laugh on a bicycle than cry in a BMW. Some girls are even willing to give their lives for the one they love. Such girls must be rare, right? Xiaozhou said. And Ai Yang smiled slightly. I suggest you go back and read the stories of Wang Ping and Xue Baochai, as well as Liang Shambua and Zhu Yingtai. Stories come from life, and these characters do have historical prototypes. You can't deny their existence just because you haven't seen them yourself. Xiaozhou was momentarily stunned. A touch of shame appeared on his face. Indeed, he had thought too narrowly of girls. He certainly couldn't deny their existence just because he hadn't seen them. It seemed like every time he chatted with Ai Yang, he was imparted with different life philosophies. She was like a treasure trove of knowledge, always bringing surprises. There was a hint of respect in Xiaozi's eyes when he looked at Ai Yang. Yang, you're right. Xiaozhou continued. Oh, Yang, can I ask you another question? Ask. Ai Yang nodded slightly. Xiaozhou said, what do you like about Mo Qixin? Ai Yang touched her chin. Probably because he's good-looking. Mo Qixin's appearance was beyond reproach, and he was far more alluring than popular movie stars. If he were in the future, he'd be the kind of person who could live off his looks. Xiaozhou, he probably won't be able to get married then. Why do you have to ask such a heart-wrenching question? Chapter 464. I am Mr. Mog _2. Xiaozhou turned his head to look at the screen, and Ai Yang, chuckling, asked, why are you always looking at the screen? Hiding a beauty behind it? Xiaozhou touched his nose. No, it's just that I think the patterns on the screen are fascinating. And Ai Yang nodded with an ambiguous smile. Oh, I've got to go. I have some errands to run. Remember to collect money for me. Where are you going? Xiaozhou instinctively asked, and Ai Yang responded without looking back. To make money, to support our Mr. Mog at home. Xiaozhou, he also wished someone could support him. After Ai Yang left, a tall, slender figure emerged from behind the screen. The dim light cast a layer of mystery on his distinct facial features, making it hard to read the expression in his narrow eyes. Buddy, you're quite lucky with ladies. Xiaozhou walked over to Mo Qixin, patted him on the shoulder, and said, even without a high school diploma, you attract people. What's more, someone is even willing to financially support him. For goodness sake, comparisons are odious. Jealous. The man turned his eyes slightly and revealed a breathtaking face. His tone was deep, as if soaked in ink. Not jealous, I'm green with envy. Understand? Xiaozhou stared at Mo Qixin, gritting his teeth. Xiaozhou and Mo Qixin were friends from primary school. But Mo Qixin was so brilliant that they only studied together for 1 year before Mo Qixin skipped a grade to go to junior high school. Although they only had a year of formal education together, they amassed a profound friendship. In the years that followed, their bond became even stronger. Xiaozhou completed junior and senior high school, and even made it into a prestigious university. But Mo Qixin seemed to lose his stride. He began to fall behind academically in junior high school, paid his way through senior high, and finally even dropped out before graduating. He disappeared for 4 or 5 years in between, then remained the same, living off his family's resources, idle, and ultimately even lost his fiancée. From a genius to a waste, it was a classic tale of self-destruction, and he became a joke within elite circles. As Mo Qixin's best friend, Xiaozhou felt pity for him on numerous occasions. But now, he envied Mo Qixin immensely. Freaking hell. Despite all his hard work, he didn't have a girlfriend. And Mo Qixin not only had a girlfriend, but a girlfriend who was willing to support him financially. Freaking hell. Comparisons are odious. Earlier, it was because of Mo Qixin being there that Xiaozhou deliberately probed Ai Yang. He even told Ai Yang that Mo Baichuan was Mr. Mog, but she seemed unaffected. Mo Qixin hadn't expected his woman to love him so much. He knew he had chosen correctly. Xiaozhou continued. But the most surprising to me is your grandnephew. He seemed unassuming, but turns out to be the famous Mr. Mog. That's just too incredible. Mr. Mog. Xiaozhou had never imagined that Mr. Mog would turn out to be his good friend's grandnephew. Mo Kishin's facial expression remained unchanged, but his eyes hinted heavily. Indeed, he's quite impressive. Not just impressive, he's freaking impressive. Xiaozhou continued. Your grandnephew is so accomplished you, as his uncle, have to buck up too. Xiaozhou was a true friend to Mo Qixin, so he spoke without pretense and genuinely cared for him. As he finished, Xiaozhou solemnly added, You're not getting any younger. You can't go on like this. You need to accomplish something to show those who look down on you and mock you. Mo Qixin was a very smart man. Xiaozhou believed that, as long as Mo Qixin put in the effort, he would definitely make great achievements. The condition being that he should make an effort. Mo Qixin touched his nose, responding in a lukewarm tone. Why should I work so hard? After all, someone is supporting me. Unlike you, who's still single. Xiaozhou, he suspected there was a dog slaughter, but had no evidence. After a silence, Xiaozhou expressed his frustration. Don't you want to one-up Zhao Jingrong? He was somewhat perplexed. How had a man once so spirited become so markedly different? Xiaozhou earnestly wanted to know what had happened to Mo Qixin over the years. Why should I bother her? Responded Mo Qixin. I don't even like her. Then Xiaozhou questioned, Zhao Jingrong dumped you. Don't you feel a hint of anger? Mo Qixin's mouth curved slightly as he laughed. Correction, I dumped Zhao Jingrong. Chapter 465. I am Mr. Mog _3. To Zayaza's surprise, as if he had just heard a hilarious joke, he stood on his tiptoes to feel Mo Qixin's forehead. Bro, are you running a fever? Everyone in Beijing knows that Mo Qixin was dumped by Zhao Jingrong, but Mo Qixin claims he dumped her. Isn't that self-deception? Mo Qixin simply smiled without uttering a word. Xiaozhou continued, Bro, you don't have to suffer to save face in front of me. Everyone in Beijing knows that after Zhao Jingrong dumped you, she blatantly boasted about marrying Mr. Mog. Upon saying this, Xiaozhou seemed to suddenly recall something and covered his mouth. Oh my God, isn't the person Zhao Jingrong plans to marry your grandnephew? Doesn't that screw up the family hierarchy? I wonder if Zhao Jingrong knows yet that Mr. Mog is actually your grandnephew. Wei Jun. Mo Qixin spoke in a light tone. Wei Jun was Zayaza's full name. He would only be addressed this way when Mo Qixin was extremely serious. What's up? Xiaozhou looked up at Mo Qixin. Mo Qixin continued, Actually, Mr. Mog is not my grandnephew. Then who is he? Mo Qixin, looking undisturbed, with his sharp features blurred under the dim light, revealed slowly, Actually, I am Mr. Mog. Upon hearing this, an eerie silence fell upon the room. Ha ha ha. The next second, Xiaozhou burst out laughing, tears streaming from his eyes. He patted Mo Qixin on the shoulders. Bro, are you trying to make me laugh to death so you can inherit my 2 cents worth of assets? This had to be the funniest joke he had heard all year. Mr. Mog, why don't you say you can ascend to the heavens? No, wait. I think it'd be more likely for you to ascend to the heavens than to be Mr. Mog. Mo Qixin replied lightly, I'm serious. All right. Xiaozhou patted Mo Qixin's shoulder. You can tell me, after all, we're brothers. Mo Qixin continued, Wei Jun, I am indeed Mog. Qixin, I also have a secret to tell you. Xiaozhou suddenly turned serious. Tell me. Xiaozhou looked at Mo Qixin and continued, Qixin, actually, I am the Jade Emperor. Whispering, he added, I came to the mortal world to endure trials and tribulations. Mo Qixin stared at Xiaozhou as if looking at a deranged person and spoke with an incredulous expression. That joke isn't funny at all. Xiaozhou responded, So you know it's not a funny joke? Mo Qixin, I really am Mog. Xiaozhou, I am really the Jade Emperor. Mo Qixin, how is he supposed to respond to that? In the end, Xiaozhou added, If you're Mog, you'll eat shit. Mo Qixin didn't respond and just stroked his nose. Xiaozhou gave Mo Qixin a pat on the back. Keep working hard, bro. Snap out of your dreams. Do you know how many people are laughing at you in Beijing? Mo Chishan responded with a small smile. Only by doing so can I see people's true colors more clearly. Otherwise, you'll never know whether you're surrounded by friends or foes. Xiaozhou rolled his eyes in disbelief. You talk as if you're really Mr. Mog. Sigh, did the fact that your grandnephew is Mog affect you? Mo Chishan remained silent and took 4 stacks of bills from his briefcase. This is for you. What is this? USD. Mo Chishan replied indifferently. Considering USD is 8 times the value of RMB, these 4 stacks were worth at least several 100,000 RMB. Xiaozhou was no longer calm. Where did you get so much money? Earned it. Mo Chishan stated concisely. You need money right now, right? This is for you. Even though I really need money right now, I can't accept this. Xiaozhou pushed the money back. Mo Chishan was currently unemployed. This money was surely leached from his both parents. How could he use an elderly couple's money? It seemed that Mo Chishan saw through Zayaza's thoughts. He added, Go ahead and take it. This money really was made by me and has nothing to do with my parents. I really can't take it. Xiaozhou responded adamantly. Mo Chishan picked up his briefcase and stood up. Consider it an investment for me. Just remember to share the profits with me at the end of the year. Hearing this, Xiaozhou finally decided to accept. Don't worry, bro. I definitely won't let you lose out. But even now, Xiaozhou wouldn't believe that this money was his own. Chapter 466. I am Mr. Mog _4. Mo Chishan did not explain further, but only said, I believe you. Good brother. Xiaozhou extended his hand and patted Mo Chishan's chest. A manor in Beijing. In a luxurious room lay a middle-aged woman with blonde hair and blue eyes. She was voluptuous, her face radiant. If not told, no one would know that she was a woman on her deathbed. She sat up in bed, revealing a weak smile towards the door. Miss G, you've come. Miss G walked in from outside with nutritional supplements, asking with concern, Are you feeling better? Thank you for your concern. I am feeling much better. But as soon as she finished her sentence, her face turned pale, her breathing weak. She looked as if she could stop breathing at any moment, a dreadful sight. Miss G was startled, immediately pressing the emergency alarm by the bed. An urgent alarm rang out. Several people who looked like doctors ran in from outside, first performing defibrillation, then administering oxygen rapidly. After a series of treatments, the middle-aged woman on the bed gradually regained consciousness, opening her eyes. Miss G, pale from fright, stepped forward and asked, How are you feeling now? Is there anywhere you still feel uncomfortable? The middle-aged woman didn't have the strength to speak. She simply blinked weakly. At that moment, the sound of hurried footsteps came from outside the door, and a tall man rushed in. Mom, are you all right? The middle-aged woman could not muster the strength to reply. A doctor in a white coat said, Mr. Abner, may we speak with you in private? The doctor's expression seemed grim. Miss G shot a worrisome glance at the middle-aged woman on the bed. Abner followed the doctor outside. Only then did the doctor slowly start. Mr. Abner, you must be prepared for your mother's illness. Usually when a doctor suggests mental preparedness, the patient's condition doesn't end well. But Abner had difficulty facing reality. My mother is only 50 years old. Her life has barely begun. Please try to find another way. The doctor shook his head helplessly. Your mother is nearing the end. I suggest you start preparing for the end. Isn't there any other way? Abner, with a pained expression, said, I am willing to pay any price if it will allow my mother to live. He had lost his father at a young age. His mother had raised him single-handedly, and just when she finally could have a few good days, she was stricken with a terrible disease. As her son, he felt unbearable heartache. The doctor regretfully said, If we continue like this, it would only increase the patient's pain. Rather than prolong her suffering, it may be better to let her pass quickly. Abner pressed his temples in pain. There really isn't any other way? No, as doctors we wouldn't stand by while a person dies. The doctor continued, suffering from this kind of disease, the The pain a patient endures is unimaginable to us. Each breath is like being pierced with a needle. The pain is unbearable. If you truly love your mother, I suggest you allow her to be free from her pain sooner." Abner was silent, a pained expression on his face. After a while, he finally said, "All right, I understand. If there's nothing else, I will take my leave." Abner nodded his head. After the doctor left, Miss G immediately comforted him. "Mr. Abner, don't be upset. In China, we have a saying that there will be a way when it seems impossible. I believe your mother will get better." Miss G had heard everything the doctor said. Although she believed that Abner's mother was terminal, she knew comforting words were still necessary. "Mr. Abner," a male assistant walked over. "Chinese medicine has broad and profound knowledge. Perhaps you could try hiring a traditional Chinese medicine doctor." The man speaking was Abner's personal assistant, Li Long, a genuine Chinese. Hearing this, Abner seemed to have found a lifeline. He replied, "Then I'll leave this matter to you." "All right." Li Long nodded his head. Miss G said, "Mr. Abner, I think you should consider this carefully." Li Long raised his eyes in surprise at Miss G. Miss G continued, "Traditional Chinese medicine is often conservative and rule-bound. They're not good at innovating. Your mother's illness is quite serious. If they can't treat her successfully and even worsen her condition, it would be a disastrous mistake." At this moment, Li Long even doubted if Miss G was actually Chinese. Chapter 467. I am Mr. Mog _5. How can someone denigrate their own country so much? Li Long said, "Miss G, you're mistaken. Traditional Chinese medicine has been passed down for thousands of years and has benefited countless humans. If traditional Chinese medicine were really as bad as you say, wouldn't China have been destroyed long ago?" Miss G laughed lightly and replied, "If traditional Chinese medicine is really that good, why is it that you can't find a traditional Chinese medicine hospital on every street corner? The few existing traditional Chinese medicine stores are on the brink of closure. Western medicine dominates today, and it is indeed difficult to find large-scale traditional Chinese medicine hospitals in the country." Li Long frowned slightly. "Miss G, what you're saying is simply unreasonable." Miss G said, "Li Long, being patriotic is good, but we must be sensible. Do you realize that your suggestion could kill Annie?" No matter what, Miss G would not believe in traditional Chinese medicine. Over the years, all her serious and minor illnesses had been cured by Western medicine. She vaguely remembers, when she was very young, she also drank extremely bitter Chinese medicinal soup. A simple cold can be cured by Western medicine with just one injection, while traditional Chinese medicine would require a week of specifically prepared concoctions for a slow recovery. This is also why traditional Chinese medicine declined so rapidly. With that, Miss G looked at Abner. "Mr. Abner, do you still want to consult a traditional Chinese medicine doctor?" Abner pinched his temple. "Let me think a bit more." Li Long wanted to say something, but he swallowed his words. After a while, Abner said, "Li Long, go ahead and get a traditional Chinese medicine doctor to give it a try." Miss G turned pale and was about to speak, but she was stopped by Abner's raised hand. Miss G had to shut her mouth with discontent. Li Long was happy and replied, "Yes, sir." The traditional Chinese medicine doctor was brought back quickly, an old man in his 60s or 70s with white hair. Li Long took the initiative to introduce him. "Mr. Abner, this is Dr. Wang." Dr. Wang comes from a long line of traditional Chinese medicine practitioners. His ancestors served as imperial doctors in the palace. He has a high reputation in Sijia City. Miss Ji's face was full of disdain. What kind of nonsense imperial doctor? If he were so skilled, would the Qing dynasty have fallen? Fortunately, Dr. Wang did not notice Miss Ji's contempt. Upon hearing that Dr. Wang's ancestors were imperial doctors, Abner's face immediately showed a look of respect, and he said with his accented Chinese, "Dr. Wang, please come this way. I'm entrusting my mother's care to you." Dr. Wang followed Mr. Abner into the house. After examining Abner's mother's condition, Dr. Wang shook his head. "This disease is too strange. I have been practicing medicine for more than a decade, and I have never seen such a strange disease. Not to mention ever encountering this disease, even the medical books of his family did not have any record of it. Upon hearing this, ridicule flashed in Miss Gia's eyes. She thought he was an incredibly famous doctor, but it turns out he couldn't even diagnose the disease. How embarrassing. Mr. Abner then asked, "Dr. Wong, what do you mean?" Dr. Wong stroked his beard. "You might want to seek out someone more skilled." The light in Abner's eyes dimmed bit by bit. Was there really no hope for his mother's illness? Li Long then spoke up, "Dr. Wong, you're the most skilled traditional Chinese medicine doctor in Siju City. If even you can't treat it, who else can we turn to?" Dr. Wong replied, "Thank you for your compliment, but there's always a bigger fish. The depth and breadth of traditional Chinese medicine are vast. Just because I can't treat the disease doesn't mean others can't." Miss G snorted. "I told you long ago that traditional Chinese medicine is outdated, inflexible, and incapable of treating serious diseases." "Li Long, you didn't believe me. Now do you see it with your own eyes?" She belittled and dismissed traditional Chinese medicine in her words, infuriating Dr. Wong, who was listening. "Young lady, how dare you speak this way?" Miss G laughed. "Don't get worked up. I'm not targeting you. I'm simply stating facts." "What facts?" "You're insulting traditional Chinese medicine." As a practitioner of traditional Chinese medicine, Dr. Wong would not allow anyone to insult it. Miss G retorted, "If traditional Chinese medicine is truly effective, why couldn't you cure Auntie's illness? He'll tell you a hard truth. Don't take it to heart. We're now living in an era dominated by Western medicine. Traditional Chinese medicine should have been overthrown long ago. If our people don't strive, sooner or later they will be enslaved. The tragedy of invasion will be repeated. This is due to my personal limitations and has nothing to do with traditional Chinese medicine." Dr. Wong replied, "Since you think Western medicine is so powerful, why couldn't it cure this lattice illness?" Miss G was left speechless. Chapter 468. I am Mr. Mog _6. Dr. Wong looked at Mr. Abner and continued. Traditional Chinese medicine has been passed down for thousands of years in our country. It has created countless miracles and has cured many difficult and complicated diseases. I may not be able to cure Madam's disease, but I'm certain someone can. I have an elder brother who is also a practitioner of traditional Chinese medicine. His medical skills far outstrip mine. Once I return, I will consult my elder brother and other renowned ministers. Can't let the foreigners here look down on traditional Chinese medicine. The connections within traditional Chinese medicine should not be underestimated. With this network, I believe we can definitely find out the cause of the disease and cure the patient." Mr. Abner said, "We appreciate your help." At this point, all he could do was try. It's better than waiting helplessly for his mother's demise. Dr. Wong said, "You're welcome. This is part of a doctor's duty." Mr. Abner went on, "Li Long, please escort Dr. Wong." "All right." Li Long immediately escorted Dr. Wong inside. Watching the doctors come and go in waves, the middle-aged woman lying on the bed had a dim light in her eyes. "Abner," she spoke weakly. "Mom." Mr. Abner immediately ran over. She gripped Mr. Abner's hand tightly. "Let it go. Stop treating me. Mom is so tired." She had been treated for a year. Every day, she had to endure great pain. She was really tired. "Mom, it's okay. You will get better." Mr. Abner tried to squeeze out a smile. The middle-aged woman closed her eyes, did not speak anymore. Her eyes and eyebrows were filled with a dull color. At the Ni family, Ni Yong was busy decorating a new house. The house had been renovated and was mostly furnished. The interior was covered with pure white marble, giving a shiny appearance to the walls. A high-end, beautiful crystal chandelier was installed on the ceiling. In the living room, there was a background wall personally designed and painted by Ni Yong. Because it was self-designed, the decoration inside the house was very modernized, which gave Ni Yong a sense of returning to the modern world. She just placed the last pot of pot hose on the coffee table when she heard footsteps coming down the spiral staircase. Looking back, it turned out to be Xiaozhou. "Yang Yang," Xiaozhou chimed while walking Which decoration company did your house use? This decoration is too beautiful. Simple, yet revealing a hint of quaintness. It was particularly beautiful. And I Yang smiled and said, it was the uncles from the village who helped with the decoration. Xiao Zhou continued, I will find them to decorate my home next time. And I Yang said, sure, I'll introduce them to you. And the painting on the wall is also beautiful. Did you find an artist to do it? The background wall depicted Change's flight to the moon. Although Change was only a silhouette, it was very realistic, and it gave people the illusion that Change was about to fly out of the wall. It showed that the painter was skilled. I painted this myself, and I Yang answered. Really? Xiao Zhou was surprised. And I Yang laughed lightly. Of course, it's true. Yang Yang, you're amazing. Even though Xiao Zhou knew I Yang was very capable, she couldn't help but express surprise each time. And I Yang was modest and said, so. Oh yes. Xiao Zhou finally remembered the important thing. Zheng Xianjing has sent the money over. After she finished speaking, Xiao Zhou took out 3 bundles of cash from her bag. So soon. And I Yang was somewhat surprised. This wealthy family really didn't lack money. Just one phone call from Zheng Xianjing, and the money was already delivered. You count it. Xiao Zhou pushed the money in front of I Yang. And I Yang split the 3 bundles of cash into 2 parts and pushed one of them in front of Xiao Zhou. Xiao Zhou was surprised and said, what are you doing? And I Yang smiled and said, we split this money 50-50. No remuneration without merit. I can't accept this money. Xiao Zhou refused. And I Yang said with a smile, who said you were remuneration without merit? If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have earned this money at all. It's a fair split. And I Yang could not appear in public, and it would have been hard to get this money without Zayaza's help. And I Yang had always been generous and understood the principle of repaying kindness with kindness. I really can't accept. Both Mo Qishan and I Yang didn't seem to care about money, and they were all very generous. It appears that the saying, birds of a feather flock together, really does hold true. Go ahead and take it, I Yang said, or I won't have a nerve to ask for your help next time. Only then did Xiao Zhou accept. And I Yang took out an envelope and gave it to Xiao Zhou, then said, could you help me mail this to Zheng Xianjing in Mr. Mo's name? Sure. Consider it done. Xiao Zhou nodded her head, took the envelope with stretched hand. Aren't you afraid that I will sneak a peek? Since the envelope wasn't sealed, it would be very easy to sneak a peek. And I Yang continued, if I was worried about you sneaking a peek, I wouldn't have given it to you. Being trusted feels really good. Thank you, Yang Yang, Xiao Zhou said after a pause. Oh yes, the wedding date for Li Xianxian and Mo Baichuan has already been set. Chapter 469. Zheng Xianjing seeks out Fua father and a son _1. They've set a date already? And I Yang raised her eyebrows slightly. Xiao Zhou nodded. Maybe they're worried about waiting too long and causing a fuss. The wedding is set for the 18th of this month. And I Yang nodded less noticeably, a faint smile in her eyes. It was hard to tell what she was thinking. Xiao Zhou continued. Mo Baichuan is getting married. Shouldn't you, as a 6th aunt, prepare a big gift? And I Yang gave a soft smile, of course. Xiao Zhou couldn't tell if he was imagining it, but he felt like I Yang looked a bit gleeful. Yang Yang, what gift have you prepared? It's a secret. And I Yang's red lips slightly parting, then added, it's getting late. Why don't you stay for dinner, Xiao Zhou? With nothing else planned for the evening and a curiosity about I Yang's cooking skills, Xiao Zhou agreed. As they headed downstairs, Xiao Zhou asked, Yang Yang, when are you planning to move in? And I Yang replied, in a few days, once the paint smell in the house has dispersed. Xiao Zhou nodded. As they passed through the yard, and I Yang casually fed a few bugs to the myna bird in the tree. Over the past month, the little bird's uneven feathers had all grown out. The feathers were shiny and stood out brilliantly while nibbling on the bugs. The bird nuzzled against I Yang's palm. It couldn't have looked more docile and cute. Even Xiao Zhou, a grown man, found his heart softened as he petted the bird's head. Is this bird yours? He asked. The docile bird suddenly turned hostile, lashing out and pecking Zayaza's hand. And I Yang laughed. Be careful, Duo is pretty aggressive. Hearing this, Duo seemed to understand Enai Yang's words. It flapped its wings and glared threateningly at Xiao Zhou as if it wanted to eat him. Riding the momentum of others indeed. Duo? That's its name? Yes. Enai Yang nodded slightly. Xiao Zhou joked Duo. More like evil bird. Chirp. Duo pecked Xiao Zhou again. If you're so tough, do it again. Chirp. Xiao Zhou was furious. You evil bird. Try pecking me one more time. And Duo did exactly that, proving it was fearless. Xiao Zhou was so angry. He rolled up his sleeves and said, "You're going down today." Duo took off into the air and continuously mocked Xiao Zhou. The war between man and bird officially began. Yang. A sweet voice suddenly echoed through the air. Suddenly, a lovely girl in a princess dress ran in from outside. Yin ran. Seeing who it was, Enai Yang's face softened into a smile. Li Yanran gave Enai Yang a big hug. Yang, I missed you so much. Enai Yang patted her back and asked with a smile, "Where have you been recently?" Li Yanran replied, "I went to M country." Seeing that the newcomer was a girl, Xiao Zhou dropped his bird-killing idea, stood there properly and smiled. "And who is this?" Li Yanran noticed Xiao Zhou. Enai Yang introduced them with a smile. "Yanran, this is my good friend Xiao Zhou. Xiao Zhou, this is my close friend Yanran." Xiao Zhou, the perfect gentleman, extended his hand to Li Yanran. "Hello, I'm Zhou Weijun. You can call me Xiao Zhou just like Yang does." As polite as ever, Li Yanran shook Xiaoza's hand and said, "I'm Li Yanran, but you can call me Yanran." Why did Li Yanran look so familiar? It's not sister. Xiao Zhou tentatively uttered this childhood nickname. The smile on Li Yanran's face froze. Back when they were kids, since she always had a runny nose, everyone called her Snot Sister. But after primary school, no one had called her that anymore. Not many people knew her childhood nickname. Who was this annoying guy? Li Yanran squinted her eyes and asked, "Dimwit." Xiao Zhou smilingly said, Yes, that's me." "Goodness, Snot Sister, you've changed so much. It's hard to believe. Who would have thought that you would transform from the way you were as a child to how you are now?" Xiao Zhou looked genuinely shocked. "Dimwit, can't you speak properly? What do you mean by the way I was as a child? How was I as a child?" She retorted, as if he was suggesting something shameful about her past. Xiao Zhou continued, "Don't you remember? As a kid, you always had snot bubbles dripping from your nose. That's why everyone called you Snot Sister." Chapter 470. Zheng Xianjing approaches Fua father and son _2. Li Yanran spoke irritably. "I don't have a runny nose anymore." As a modern woman, Li Yanran didn't want to have anything to do with snot, but this blockhead, Zhou, kept associating her with the nickname Nose Drip Sister. If others found out about her obscure nickname, Nose Drip Sister, how could she carry on? Although you don't have a runny nose now, you did when you were little. Speaking of which, Nose Drip Sister, where are you now? When did you change your name? I recall you were Li Sanshun before, weren't you? Li Yanran gave a dry laugh. You remembered wrong. I've always been Li Yanran. Li Yanran was indeed originally known as Li Sanshun. Her grandfather personally named her. Later, an aunt who had been studying abroad thought the name was too unsophisticated and changed it to Li Yanran. Did I recall wrong? Xiao Zhou scratched his head. I don't think so. You were clearly Li Sanshun. And Ai Yang stepped in, trying to lighten the atmosphere. Xiao Zhou, you might have gotten it wrong. Let's head that way. I've recently come up with a new dessert. Want to get a try? Sure. After hearing about the dessert, Li Yanran forgot all her discomfort. Peep. Duo flew from the tree onto Enai Yang's shoulder. Wow, this little bird is so well-behaved. Li Yanran reached out to pet Duo's head as she spoke. Before Xiao Zhou could caution Li Yanran against being pecked, Duo was already rubbing against Li Yanran's hand, like a cat, purring happily. This was strange indeed. Could it be that this often troublesome bird has suddenly changed its nature? Xiao Zhou, obstinately unconvinced, reached out to pet Duo's head. Peep! Duo promptly snapped at him. Xiao Zhou, damn, the perverted bird. Well done, Li Yanran praised, petting Duo's head. Duo comfortably closed its eyes. Roused by Li Yanren's praise, Duo launched yet another attack on Xiaozhou. Xiaozhou whimpered, "Nose drip sister, what did I do to deserve this? Did you really need to help this bird bully me?" Li Yanran turned to look at Xiaozhou, iterated emphatically, "Zhou Weijun, I am warning you. Don't ever call me nose drip sister again." Does he have a problem? She's a grown woman now. Does he think she would tolerate being constantly called nose drip sister? Doesn't she have any dignity left? What? Xiaozhou scratched his head. Aren't nicknames meant to be used? Li Yanran was livid. "Call me Li Yanran. Thank you. But I remember you as Li Sanshan. Zhou Weijun, you're being really irritating." Li Yanran glared at Xiaozhou furiously. She turned and stomped off, no longer acknowledging Xiaozhou. "Nose drip sister. Nose drip sister." Xiaozhou chased after Li Yanran's steps, but she ignored him. The saying about a woman's heart being as deep as the sea rang true. For no apparent reason, she had become angry. Xiaozhou furrowed his eyebrows, not understanding. He moved next to Nai Yang and asked in a low voice, Yang, what's up with Nose Drip sister?" "She's angry," Nai Yang replied. "Who has she taken offense with?" Xiaozhou was perplexed. Nai Yang said, "She's angry at you." Xiaozhou scratched his head, looking exasperated. "Angry at me? I didn't provoke her, nor did I offend her. What is she getting angry about?" Women are indeed quite strange. Can't afford to provoke. Can't afford to provoke. This was truly a calamity not of his making. Boys like Xiaozhou could best be described in modern terms as steel-hardened straight males. And Ai Yang laughed. "All girls love to be beautiful, and you call her nose drip sister all the time. Isn't it natural that she gets angry?" Xiaozhou sighed. "What's there to be angry about? You girls are just so strange." And Ai Yang continued, "In any case, just stop calling Yanran nose drip sister, all right?" "Fine. If you say so, I won't call her that." As he finished speaking, Xiaozhou caught up with Li Yanran and continued, "I'm sorry, nose drip sister. I promise not to call you that anymore." Li Yanran, "You can keep your hollow gratitude to yourself." With a smile, Ai Yang led the two to the living room. "You two sit here. I will make the dessert." The dessert Ai Yang planned to make was red bean taro balls. Taro balls is a type of snack from Minnan, southern Fujian province. It's made from cassava starch. Ai Yang took out 3 different colored balls of cassava starch from the fridge. She kneaded the dough into a rectangular shape, cut it into small pieces, and boiled it. Then, she put the cooked taro balls into chilled red bean soup. She added sago and whole milk, then garnished the bowl with some mint leaves and lemon slices. A delicious and good-looking bowl of red bean taro balls was ready to be served. Chapter 471. Zheng Xianjing looks for Fua father and son_3. Since all the ingredients were prepared in advance, it took only a few minutes to make 4 bowls of taro balls. Ai Yang brought the cooked taro balls to the table. Li Yanran exclaimed in surprise, Yang, what kind of dessert did you make? It looks so beautiful." Ai Yang said, "This is a traditional snack from southern Fujian called red bean taro balls. Give it a try." Li Yanran took a spoon and tasted it. The mouthfeel was a mixture of the chewiness of red beans and the creaminess of milk, exhibiting a rich, fragrant flavor that also emitted a light, refreshing scent, somewhat similar to lemon. Yet it also smelled mildly like mint. It was satisfying and refreshing. She gently bit into a taro ball, finding it pleasantly chewy with a hint of sweet potato fragrance. It was absolutely delicious. Li Yanran had never tasted such a delicious dessert. "Delicious, it's really delicious," Li Yanran said vaguely. Yang, what are these chewy little balls made of?" The taro balls were indeed delightful. Even Xiaozhou, who didn't usually have a sweet tooth, found them irresistible. Ai Yang explained with a smile, "The purple ones are made from sweet potato and cassava flour, the yellow ones are pumpkin, and the white ones are potato." Yang, you are really talented." Li Yanran hugged Ai Yang around the waist. "If I were a boy, I'd definitely marry you." Ai Yang said, "Eat as much as you like, and if it's not enough, there's more in the fridge." All right. Li Yanran nodded hastily. Ai Yang went back into the house to call Ai Suwa. "Mom, Come out for dessert. Okay. And Suehua walked out of the room. Where's Yin Yin? And Yang continued to ask. She's asleep. Oh. And Yang nodded slightly. Mother and daughter came to the living room, where Xiao Zhou and Li Yanran politely greeted Suehua. After finishing the dessert, Yang asked, Yanran, Xiao Zhou, what do you want to eat tonight? Li Yanran said, I like anything you cook, Yang. Everything made by Yang was definitely a delicacy. Xiao Zhou said, I'm like Booger Girl, anything goes. Li Yanran shot Xiao Zhou a fierce glare. Only then did Xiao Zhou realize he had put his foot in his mouth and quickly corrected himself. I'm like Yanran, anything goes. Then let's have hot pot tonight. The hot pot was both delicious and convenient. It was appropriate for a big group of people since cooking individual dishes could be troublesome. Yang will help you wash the vegetables. Li Yanran quickly followed Yang. Yang will help too. Xiao Zhou also joined in the fun. In no time, the small kitchen filled with cheerful laughter and the appetizing aroma of hot pot ingredients. Yang made a spicy oil base and a clear soup base for the hot pot. The spicy oil was made from beef tallow, chili peppers, and star anise, while the clear soup was made from a broth stewed with an old hen and mushrooms. Yang prepared some homemade fish tofu, shrimp paste, meatballs, thinly sliced lamb, vegetables, tofu, etc. for the hot pot ingredients. Having a bite of the spicy and fragrant hot pot ingredient, followed by a sip of chilled sour plum soup, the taste was absolutely refreshing. Neither Xiao Zhou nor Li Yanran had ever tasted such a delicious hot pot. They were so excited that they were at a loss for words. The boiling spicy oil reflected the smiling faces of everyone, creating a warm and harmonious atmosphere. Xiao Zhou was a responsible person. That night, he had the items sent over to Zhang Xianjing. The day after receiving the items, Zhang Xianjing couldn't wait to visit Walt Road. When she arrived, she happened to see a boy named Fua playing by the roadside. He was a skinny little boy, even skinnier than he looked in the photos. He was wearing tattered clothes, had no shoes that fit his feet, and looked no different from a beggar. Normally, Zhang Xianjing would not give this little beggar a second glance. But today was different, because this child was her only trump card to take down Li Xianxian. If the information was true, then Li Xianxian's life would be ruined. Never mind that she was carrying Mo Baichuan's child. Even if she were bearing a dragon, it would be useless. At the thought of this, an unmistakable smugness passed across Zhang Xianjing's eyes. Little friend, Zhang Xianjing squatted down in front of Fua, trying to muster a gentle smile. Fua backed away a step, looking slightly afraid, and asked, Who are you? Zhang Xianjing took a step forward. Don't be scared, little friend. I'm not a bad person. I'm here to help you. Fua didn't respond, but watched Zhang Xianjing vigilantly. Zhang Xianjing continued, Is your name Fua? Chapter 472. Zhang Xianjing goes to Fua father and a son _4. Fua nodded his head in affirmation. Zhang Xianjing continued, Fua, how old are you this year? Fua remained silent. Zhang Xianjing continued further. Are you 6 years old? Fua nodded his head again. Zhang Xianjing pursued. Fua, where is your father? He's gone to work. After Yang's treatment, Zhou Tianbao was completely healed, and now he was hefting bags of rice for others at the rice merchants. Though the labor wasn't high-paying, it was enough for the father and son to survive. Fua, where's your mother? Fua shook his head. I don't have a mother. Seeing this, Zhang Xianjing squinted her eyes. It turned out that the information she had was indeed accurate. Li Xianxian is just a malicious woman who abandoned her husband and child. A woman who had given birth to a child and had a husband, yet she had the audacity to imagine marrying into the Mo family. She was truly shameless. A look of disdain filled Zhang Xianjing's eyes. Fua, do you want to find your mother? She asked. No. Fua, who had never experienced maternal love, had a vague impression of his mother. Having his father was enough. Doesn't want to find his mother? Another ingrate. He doesn't want his mother anymore. As the saying goes, as the beam is so, is the pillar beneath. Zhang Xianjing continued. Fua, I know your mother, Sun Dalian. Would you like me to take you to find her? No. Fua shook his head again. Zhang Xianjing furrowed her brows slightly. You child, how can you not want your own mother? Fua retorted loudly. She was the one who didn't want me first. Zhang Xianjing didn't want to argue with Fua. She simply asked, when will your father come back? Fua didn't reply. Zhang Xianjing continued. Will your father be back for lunch? Fua nodded his head with tears welling up in his eyes. Zhang Xianjing looked at her wristwatch. It was 11 in the morning. If Zhou Tianbao was coming back for lunch, he shouldn't be long. Fua, would you take your sister to wait at your place for your father? Fua hesitated for a moment before nodding his head. Ever since Fua's home was tidied up by house cleaners, it had remained the same, spotless. But for someone of Zhang Xianjing's affluent background, this environment was still unappealing and chaotic. Staying even a minute more was torture. At 12:30, a short man walked in from outside. This man was Zhou Tianbao. Fua immediately rushed up to him, exclaiming, Dad. Zhang Xianjing also stood up with a shine in her eyes. Are you Zhou Tianbao? Zhou Tianbao wore a stern look. Who are you? What are you doing in my house? Would a destitute beggar dare to use such an attitude with her? This was totally uncalled for. Suppressing the fire in her heart, Zhang Xianjing continued. You must be Zhou Tianbao, right? My last name is Zhang. I'm here to help you. I don't need anyone's help. You can leave. Zhou Tianbao pointed towards the door, speaking dismissively. I really came to help you, Zhang Xianjing emphasized. I've news about your wife, Sun Dalian. She assumed that after delivering this bombshell news, Zhou Tianbao would definitely be very excited. But instead, Zhou Tianbao had a displeased look on his face. What's going on? Did Li Xianxian abandon her husband and child, and Zhou Tianbao didn't get angry at all? Zhang Xianjing was extremely puzzled. Zhou Tianbao spoke then. What does news about Sun Dalian have to do with me? Isn't Sun Dalian your wife? Zhang Xianjing asked. Don't you want to find her? We're not husband and wife anymore, Zhou Tianbao stated. Do you have anything else to say? If not, please leave immediately. Zhou Tianbao's face was stern, not joking at all. The way things went was totally different from what Zhang Xianjing had imagined. In her imagination, Zhou Tianbao would be eternally grateful to her if she told him about Li Xianxian. Whatever she asked him to do, he would obediently do. She didn't expect that Zhou Tianbao would show such indifference. This was just unbelievable. Zhang Xianjing questioned, Don't anyone know about Sun Dalian's current status? No. Zhou Tianbao shook his head. Zhang Xianjing continued, Sun Dalian has changed her name to Li Xianxian now. Moreover, she is about to get married. Her wedding date is set for next year. Upon hearing this, Zhou Tianbao's face still didn't display any particular expression. It's as if nothing had happened at all. Don't you feel angry at all? Zhang Xianjing asked. What is there to be angry about? Zhou Tianbao retorted. Chapter 473. Zhang Xianjing seeks out Fua father and son _5. Sun Dalian has abandoned her husband and child and remarried under a false identity. You guys are struggling to make ends meet, while she lives a lavish life. Don't you, as her husband, feel anything about it? At this point, Zhang Xianjing pausing said, I can help you now. Shall I help you find Sun Dalian? Help us. Zhou Tianbao laughed. Don't you mean exploit us? Look at what you're saying. I kindly offer to take you to see Sun Dalian. It's one thing if you're ungrateful, but to claim him using you, aren't you unappreciative? At her last comment, Zhang Xianjing put more emphasis on her tone. Zhou Tianbao, in his nonchalant manner, said, We appreciate your kind intentions, but we don't need your help. You'll regret it, retorted Zhang Xianjing. You're missing a golden opportunity. Zhou Tianbao remained resolute. Rest assured, I won't regret it. Zhang Xianjing felt disconcerted. She hadn't expected Zhou Tianbao to have such an attitude. If Zhou Tianbao doesn't want to find Li Xianxian, then her entire effort to find Li Xianxian would be in vain. Mrs. M.O., and Baichuan wouldn't trust her word alone. What now? Zhang Xianjing frowned. Why are you like this? I'm here to help you, and you're not grateful. You want to use us to deal with Sun Dalian, don't you? Use us as cannon fodder, right? When confronted with Zhou Tianbao's accurate guess, Zhang Xianjing felt a bit awkward. Originally, she had planned to take Zhou Tianbao and Fua to see Li Xianxian, hoping that Li Xianxian would reveal her true colors in front of Mo family members and kill two birds with one stone, but Zhou Tianbao was uncooperative. What was so good about Li Xianxian? She abandoned her husband and child, yet Zhou Tianbao was defending her. So, what do you want? Asked Zhang Xianjing. If you want us to help you, fine. Zhou Tianbao turned to Zhang Xianjing. But I have a requirement. A requirement? She takes Zhou Tianbao to find Li Xianxian, and he sets conditions. Wasn't that going too far? You have to realize that I'm helping you. Zhang Xianjing's face darkened. Zhou Tianbao said, You also need to understand that we don't need your help. Zhang Xianjing took a deep breath. Speak. As compensation, we want 10,000 yuan. We, father and son, will then fully comply. That's a lot of money. Zhou Tianbao's heart was racing as he spoke. Would Zhang Xianjing agree to his conditions? 10,000 yuan? With the 30,000 yuan Mo's man asked for, that would total 40,000 yuan. Zhang Xianjing started to suspect that this was all a trap orchestrated by Mr. Mo. Don't push your luck, said Zhang Xianjing, her face darkening. Zhou Tianbao confidently said, Whether you are willing to pay is up to you. I won't force it. The most I can give is 1,000. Zhang Xianjing gritted her teeth. The door's over there. Zhou Tianbao pointed toward the exit. Zhang Xianjing took a deep breath. 2,000. Zhou Tianbao stood firm, not a penny less. Insatiable. Zhou Tianbao responded. You should know whether this 10,000 yuan is worth it. Indeed, his words hit Zhang Xianjing where it hurt. If she could ruin Li Xianxian completely with 10,000 yuan, it would be worth it. Moreover, she had already spent 30,000 yuan. Could she really turn back for just 10,000 yuan? Zhang Xianjing remained silent for a while, then said, Fine, 10,000 it is. I'll give you every penny once it's done, but for now, you need to follow my instructions. Payment first, work later, Zhou Tianbao said. Do you think I might cheat you out of your money? Possibly. Poor people will always be poor. Such small-mindedness. This was the first time Zhang Xianjing was left speechless by such a petty action. I will bring you the money tomorrow. Okay. Zhou Tianbao nodded. Then come back tomorrow. Zhang Xianjing pulled a 7-inch photo from her pocket, then asked, Do you know this person? She's Sun Dalian. Zhou Tianbao answered indifferently. However, immense resentment surged within him. Years ago, when Sun Dalian abandoned them, Fua had a high fever of 39 degrees. He was on the brink of death. Over the years, he had wanted to find Sun Dalian every second of the day, but he had never been successful. Upon seeing that Zhou Tianbao could recognize Li Xianxian, Zhang Xianjing felt assured and said, He'll come find you again tomorrow. Before then, don't go anywhere. Zhou Tianbao nodded. Zhang Xianjing left Walt Road satisfied, feeling exhilarated. Zhou Tianbao watched the retreating figure of Zhang Xianjing, feeling an indescribable sensation. Days before, when N.I. Yang had come over for a checkup, she had told him about this. In a few days, someone would come, claiming that they could lead him to Sun Dalian. Zhou Tianbao was ecstatic at that time. Over the years, he dreamed of finding Sun Dalian. They had come all the way to Beijing for the sole purpose of finding her. But N.I. Yang told him not to agree hastily. She instructed him to demand 10,000 yuan. Zhou Tianbao was astounded then. The other party could lead him to Li Xianxian, and there was also a hefty reward. Could there be such a good thing in this world? Initially, he was a bit incredulous. Who could have anticipated that all these were actually true? N.I. Yang was truly the lucky star of their family. She not only cured his legs, but also helped him find Sun Dalian. Moreover, she had helped him earn unexpected wealth. Fua. Zhou Tianbao called for Fua. Daddy. Fua came running. Zhou Tianbao continued. Fua, from now on, you cannot tell anyone you know Sister and Yang. Although an Yang hadn't said anything to him, Zhou Tianbao had a hunch. If they told other people they knew an Yang, it would definitely cause trouble for her. An Yang was their benefactor. He couldn't cause her any difficulty. Why? Fua looked at Zhou Tianbao with confusion. Zhou Tianbao said, because by doing so, we might cause trouble for Sister and Yang. Would you like to see Sister and Yang distressed? Hearing this, Fua shook his head. No. Then listen to Dad. From now on, you have to pretend not to know Sister and Yang in places where there are many people. Okay, I understand, Dad. Fua nodded wisely. Mo Baichuan's wedding was approaching. The Mo family was very busy. After all, Mo Baichuan is the legitimate eldest grandson of Mo family, so his wedding cannot be simple. Baichuan, you have beautiful handwriting, so let's leave the invitation cards to you. Xiao Jiao handed Mo Baichuan a stack of invitations. All right, Mom. Mo Baichuan nodded. Xiao Jiao continued. Baichuan, have you been visiting Xianxian these days? Mo Baichuan paused for a moment before replying. I've been too busy these days, Xiao Jiao went on. Baichuan, Xianxian is pregnant now, and it is a critical period. She feels sensitive and has no other close family members. There are more than 10 days left before your wedding. You should find some time to see her. Xiao Jiao also felt sorry for Li Xianxian, who is an orphan. While it's bustling over at Mo's house, she was solitary and alone. Mo Baichuan nodded. All right, I got it, Mom. As long as you understand. Xiao Jiao added. And by the way, don't forget to write an invitation for your 6th uncle's girlfriend. Your grandmother specifically asked me about it. Mo Baichuan looked up at Xiao Jiao. 6th uncle's girlfriend? Xiao Jiao smiled and said, the girl named Yang, who came to our house for your grandmother's birthday last time. Mo Baichuan was startled. Right? How could he forget that Yang is now Mo Kishin's girlfriend? Chapter 474. The wedding proceeds as scheduled _1. Yang is Mo Kishin's girlfriend, and he is also about to marry Li Xianxian. No, Mo Baichuan suddenly remembered. During his last birthday party, Yang did not come with Mo Qishan. Hadn't she already broken up with Mo Qishan? Didn't Yang already break up with Uncle Lu? Mo Baichuan continued. Broke up? Xiao Jiao furrowed her brows and continued. I don't think so. This morning, your grandmother was still discussing their marriage with your Uncle Lu. You're 27 this year, and Uncle Lu is a year older than you. I reckon they should be getting married soon, too. Could it be that Yang and Mo Qishan hadn't broken up? Was it all just his speculation? Mo Baichuan's expression darkened, and he felt a heaviness in his heart, a sudden feeling of being suffocated. Xiao Jiao continued, Yang is a very good girl. Your grandpa and grandma both really like her. It's just that she was born lowly. I heard she only finished middle school. Though Yang is pretty, her education level is too low, and she's only a noodle vendor. Compared to Li Xianxian, she falls far behind. Though Li Xianxian is an orphan, she is a proper university student, studying at a domestic university, which is quite prestigious. But on the other hand, it seems that Mo Qishan can only match up with someone like this. A girl as outstanding as Zhao Jingrong would never look at Mo Qishan. After all, Mo Qishan is just a good-for-nothing. What kind of affluent family's girl could he possibly marry? Even though she only finished middle school, her ambitions are not small, Mo Baichuan said with a cryptic expression. Xiao Jiao was taken aback. What do you mean? Mo Baichuan said. She's just a noodle vendor. If she didn't have some tact, how could she have possibly won the favor of my grandparents? When Master Mo and Madame Mo were young, they had both experienced the hail of bullets in war, and an ordinary person wouldn't catch their eyes. Could an ordinary person pull off this? Besides, Mo Baichuan suspected that Yang was reluctant to break up with Mo Qishan because she had other motives. Xiao Jiao said, Yang does indeed seem like a likable kid. Plus, she's saved Xiao Dai, so it's normal for your grandparents to like her. Apart from her low status, Xiao Jiao didn't see any other flaws in Yang. Mo Baichuan's expression was cryptic as he started to write on the invitation. After writing one invitation, Mo Baichuan picked up the coat hanging on the rack and began to walk towards the door. Baichuan, where are you going? Xiao Jiao asked from behind. Delivering the invitation, Mo Baichuan replied. Who are you giving it to? Xiao Jiao continued. Who sends out invitations one by one? You should write them all out, then deliver them all together. Mo Baichuan did not answer and disappeared out the door. Sometime later, the sound of a car engine came from outside. Mo Baichuan drove all the way to Jinghua village. Because the dirt road was inconvenient, he parked the car at the entrance of the village and walked to the Ni family's courtyard. The courtyard door was half closed. Through blooming banana flowers, he could somewhat see a slender figure. She was in black cotton shorts, revealing two slender and fair long legs, wearing a white camisole on top. She was wearing flip-flops, standing under an osmanthus tree, feeding the bird's insects. Because of the movement, when she stood on her toes, a small part of her slender waist was exposed. It was quite captivating. From where Mo Baichuan was standing, he could see her profile. Her long, dense eyelashes cast a shallow shadow on her nose. Why would she dress like this in broad daylight? Did she know he was coming and intentionally dress this way? Was this how a decent woman should dress? Mo Baichuan slightly frowned, took a step back, and knocked on the door. The door isn't locked. Just come in. An Ai Yang's voice came from inside. Mo Baichuan pushed the door and entered. When Ai Yang saw that the visitor was Mo Baichuan, she was taken aback for a moment, then said, Why are you here? I came to give you the invitation. Mo Baichuan handed over the big red invitation to Ai Yang. Ai Yang reached out and took it. Congratulations, winning the beauty. No matter how Mo Baichuan heard it, he felt that there was some bitterness in her words. It made sense. He was about to get married to Li Xianxian. Ai Yang must be very upset now. Mo Baichuan narrowed his eyes and said, The wedding is set for the 18th. If you sincerely want to attend the wedding, I will be very happy. But if you have other intentions, don't blame me for not being polite. Chapter 475. The wedding was held as scheduled _2. Mo Baichuan had come over this time to confront Ai Yang. He was worried that Ai Yang would disrupt his wedding to Li Xianxian. Li Xianxian was already pregnant, and Mo Baichuan did not want her to suffer any further grievances. Even at this point, Mo Baichuan was still so narcissistic. Hadn't she made herself clear last time? Ai Yang was somewhat speechless. At the same time, Ai Yang felt relieved that she had entrusted this matter to Zhang Xianjing. If she had personally dealt with Li Xianxian, who knew how Mo Baichuan would have misunderstood the situation. Nephew, I suggest you spend less time admiring yourself in the mirror. Ai Yang spoke softly, without a trace of sorrow in her eyes or expression. Mo Baichuan furrowed his brows slightly. If Ai Yang was pretending, then her acting skills were quite powerful indeed. Had he been wrong from the start? Or was she pretending now? Just then, the sound of footsteps were heard again from outside the yard. Ai Yang looked up and saw a pair of radiant eyes. She stood up to greet him. Big brother Mo. Yang Yang. Mo Qishan reached out to take Ai Yang's hand, furrowing his brows slightly. Why are you dressed so lightly? As he spoke, he naturally removed his white shirt and draped it over Ai Yang. The pure white men's shirt was just long enough to cover Ai Yang's shorts, creating an immediate impression of a child wearing an adult's clothing. Mo Qishan bent down to fasten the shirt buttons one by one. Ai Yang's outfit was quite common in modern times, and even in the 80s, it wouldn't have been considered unusual. She hadn't expected Mo Qishan to be so conservative. Big brother Mo, are you done? Ai Yang asked, looking down slightly. Just one more button. Mo Qishan answered without looking up. The scene was somewhat glaring. Mo Baichuan furrowed his brows, stepped forward and said, Uncle Six. Mo Qishan nodded slightly. His expression didn't reveal any emotion. Why are you here? I'm here to deliver the wedding invitation to my future Aunt Six, Mo Baichuan replied. Have you delivered it? I have. Mo Qishan glanced at Mo Baichuan, his thin lips slightly parted, Since you have already delivered it, why don't you leave? Are you planning on spending the new year at your Aunt Ix's house? Just the thought that Mo Baichuan had seen his wife's long legs and slender waist irritated Mo Chishan. His wife was his, and only he had the right to look. Mo Baichuan's face flashed with a hint of embarrassment before saying, "Uncle Six, then I'll be on my way." "Go ahead," Mo Chishan said. "Your Aunt Six and I are busy." Mo Baichuan glanced at Ni Yang before turning around to leave, his face clouded with embarrassment. Ni Yang didn't pay any more attention to Mo Baichuan. Holding Mo Kishin's hand, they headed inside. "Big brother Mo, let's go inside. It's hot out here." Since entering the room, Mo Kishin's face was rigid, his lips nearly a thin line, and he remained silent. "Big brother Mo, what's wrong?" Ni Yang brought him a bowl of red bean taro balls. "Try the taro balls I made. Are they good?" Mo Chishan didn't say a word. "Big brother Mo?" Ni Yang waved her hand in front of his eyes. "If you don't say anything, they'll go wash my hair." Saying that, Ni Yang turned around to walk outside. Just then, her wrist was grabbed. A sudden force yanked her back, and in a dizzying whirl, she was pulled onto Mo Kishin's lap. Mo Chishan held her waist tightly with both hands, buried his chin in the hollow of her neck, and mumbled, "Yang Yang, I'm angry." Ni Yang was taken aback. "Cajole me now." Mo Chishan whined like a 5-year-old child. Ni Yang chuckled, looking at Mo Chishan while cupping his face. "Aren't you being childish?" "I'm really angry." Ni Yang smiled and said, "Then, I'll make you a delicious dinner tonight. Will you stop being angry then?" "No." "Then I'll say sorry." "I'm sorry, it was my bad." "No." Mo Chishan shook his head. "I'm still very angry." Mo Chishan looked discontentedly at Ni Yang. "Yang Yang, I'm still very angry." Ni Yang's face turned stern. Mo Chishan, enough is enough. Mo Chishan still wanted Ni Yang to kiss him again. "I'm really very angry." Ni Yang didn't indulge him anymore and turned to walk out of the room. Mo Chishan, like a lord, sat on the chair, expecting Ni Yang to come to placate him. A minute, 2 minutes, then soon 3 minutes passed by. Chapter 476. The wedding takes place as planned _3. Mo Chishan now felt a bit uncomfortable and turned his gaze toward the door. Ni Yang was watering the plants in the yard with her watering can. Giddily, Mo Chishan ran up to her and said, "Yang Yang." Ni Yang didn't respond. Mo Chishan continued, "Wifey." Ni Yang still ignored him. Mo Chishan went on, "Wifey, I was wrong. I shouldn't have pushed my luck. Can you stop ignoring me, please?" "Wifey, let me help you water the plants." Mo Chishan took the watering can from Ni Yang. "Wifey, can you crack a smile, please? You're scaring me like this." Mo Chishan was genuinely nervous and a bit scared. "Next time, dare to misbehave." Ni Yang sternly grabbed his ear. "I dare not do it again, I don't." Mo Chishan quickly nodded. "I promise I'll always follow the leader's orders. 1 if the leader says 1. 2 if the leader says 2. Ni Yang slightly curved her lips into a shallow smile, dimples appearing at the corners of her mouth, before turning and heading into the house. Mo Chishan didn't dare to ask anything else. Instead, he focused attentively on watering the plants. After a while, Ni Yang came out of the room. She had changed into a vintage-styled short shirt with a standing collar, paired with a pair of black wide-leg pants below. The vintage look was sophisticated, yet with a hint of playfulness. "Here, you should have this." Ni Yang handed the white shirt back to Mo Chishan. Mo Chishan asked, "Yang Yang, how come you're not wearing it?" Ni Yang replied, "You should put it on. What do you look like topless?" Although Mo Chishan did have a good figure with abs and well-toned muscles, after all, this was the 80s. If other people saw Mo Chishan's upper body exposed, the gossip wouldn't be good. It was then Mo Chishan realized he didn't have a shirt on, so he quickly put on the white shirt, making sure to flatter, "Wifey, you're so considerate. What did he do to deserve such a wonderful wife? You sweet talker." Ni Yang lightly smiled. Although she knew Mo Chishan was merely buttering her up, each time, Ni Yang indeed fell for it. Seeing In-ai Yang smile, Mo Qishan quietly sighed in relief. After returning home, Zheng Xianjing told Zheng Lingling about Zhou Tianba's request. Hearing this, Zheng Lingling frowned. 10,000 yuan? Were to help him and also pay him 10,000 yuan? The 30,000 yuan required a few days ago had already given Zheng Lingling a hard time. Where was she supposed to find the remaining 10,000 yuan? Zheng Xianjing sighed. Unfortunately, Li Xianxian is really something. Despite abandoning her husband and child, Zhou Tianbao still defends her. Xianjing, could you try if it's possible to give him the money at the beginning of next month? The beginning of the month is when you have pocket money. Currently, Zheng Lingling had absolutely no cash on her. No way, Zheng Xianjing said. By the beginning of next month, that bitch Li Xianxian will already be married to Mo Baichuan. When is the wedding of the Mo family set? Zheng Lingling asked. This month on the 18th. Zheng Xianjing answered. So soon. Zheng Lingling narrowed her eyes. Zheng Xianjing added. If it's any later, would Li Xianxian's belly be able to wait? Zheng Lingling nodded in agreement. You're right, Xianjing. She then asked, so, Xianjing, you plan to stir up trouble at the wedding? Zheng Xianjing nodded. Of course, the more drama, the better. It was about time Li Xianxian, who had flaunted in front of her for so long, suffered. She intended to embarrass Li Xianxian in front of everyone so that she would never be able to hold her head up high. Moreover, Li Xianxian was pregnant. If this matter was not made a big deal of, what if the Mo family chose to settle for peace because of the child? Zheng Xianjing couldn't take that risk. Zheng Lingling suggested. In that case, I have a set of jewelry that I don't particularly like. It should be worth around 10,000 yuan. Thank you, Mom. Zheng Xianjing's eyes lit up, then she asked, by the way, Mom, where did you get the 30,000 yuan last time? I borrowed it. From whom? Zheng Lingling explained. A mahjong buddy, you don't know him. Oh, Zheng Xianjing nodded. Zheng Lingling stood up to leave. Wait for me here, Xianjing. They'll go upstairs and get the jewelry. It was a simple platinum diamond necklace, which she had bought for over 20,000 yuan at the time, so it should more than cover the 10,000 yuan she needed. Zheng Xianjing accepted the jewelry. Then he'll go have it exchanged right now. Mo Qishan got home from his dinner at In-ai Yang's well past 7 in the evening. When he arrived, Mo Baichuan was calligraphing couplets on the living room table. Nephew. Mo Qishan approached Mo Baichuan. Chapter 477. The wedding takes place as planned _4. Uncle Six, do you need anything? Mo Baichuan put down his brush. Mo Qishan continued. Dear nephew, I suggest you reconsider your marriage to Li Xianxian. She's not as simple as you think. Regardless, Mo Baichuan was the only child of his brother and the eldest legitimate grandson of the Mo family. Mo Qishan couldn't bear to see Mo Baichuan sink into a pitfall. Did In-ai Yang send you to say these things? Mo Baichuan sneered at Mo Qishan. No wonder In-ai Yang refused to break up with Mo Qishan. So this was her plan. Mo Qishan frowned slightly. This matter has nothing to do with your sixth aunt. Mo Baichuan continued. Uncle Six, you know if it matters or not. Li Xianxian is already pregnant with my child. No matter what you say, I will stand by Li Xianxian. From Mo Baichuan's words, Mo Qishan could deduce that his nephew was beyond saving. Indeed, as In-ai Yang had said, terrifyingly narcissistic. Mo Qishan bluntly responded, so she got pregnant just like that after one time, nephew. Don't be a fool who can't even see when he's being cuckolded. After all, this was his birth nephew. Mo Qishan still needed to say what should be said. Uncle Six. Mo Baichuan's face stiffened. You're crossing a line. I trust Li Xianxian. Useless. His words were completely illogical. Li Xianxian gave him her first time. How could she possibly cheat on him? Besides, Li Xianxian was not that kind of person. Mo Qishan's words were too outrageous. Not only did he damage Li Xianxian's reputation, he indirectly insulted his dignity. I've spoken my mind. Whether you listen or not is up to you. Mo Qishan did not want to waste more words with him. Mo Baichuan looked at Mo Qishan and continued, "Did Ni Yang have you pass on this message?" Without a doubt, these words must have come from Ni Yang. She intended to use Mo Qishan to ruin his wedding with Li Xianxian. Even if it was from Ni Yang, Mo Qishan should have thought twice about whether he should say it out loud. Mo Qishan sighed helplessly. "Nephew, paranoia is a disease. It needs treatment." Mo Baichuan replied, "Uncle Six, don't let yourself be used as someone's tool unknowingly." Mo Qishan didn't want to waste more words with him and continued, "I wish you and Miss Xianxian a long and happy life together." With that, Mo Qishan turned around and headed upstairs. Mo Baichuan continued writing invitations. The next day, Zhang Xianjing delivered the cash to Zhou Tianbao's house as promised and explained some details to Zhou Tianbao. Zhou Tianbao said, "Miss Zhang, rest assured, since I have taken your money, I will not disappoint you. Remember your words." Zhang Xianjing narrowed her eyes. "If you dare to play any tricks, it'll make you regret it." After some discussions, Zhang Xianjing left Walt Road. Days flew by quickly. In the blink of an eye, it was the day of Mo Baichuan and Li Xiangxian's wedding. The wedding was held at the Mo family's old house. Many prestigious families from Beijing personally attended to give their blessings. Li Xianxian sat in front of the dressing mirror. A smirk surfaced in her eyes when she saw her finely made-up self reflected back. She had finally waited for this day. From now on, she would be the high-profile Madame Mog, an object of envy in Beijing. "Miss Li, it's time to change into your wedding dress." The makeup artist brought in an imported wedding gown. Not many people wore wedding gowns in those times, and country folks hadn't even seen one. Looking at the magnificent wedding gown, Li Xianxian was reminded of her previous wedding. 6 years ago, when she was pregnant and getting married to Zhou Tianbao, she didn't even have a decent red gown, let alone a wedding dress. 6 years later, through her own efforts, she had become the happiest bride in the world. It all felt like a dream. Miss Li, seeing her lost in thought, the makeup artist reminded her, "All right, I'm coming right away." Li Xianxian snapped out of her trance and took the wedding gown. The makeup artist followed Li Xianxian. Li Xianxian said, "I can change on my own. There's no need for you to follow." The makeup artist answered, "How could we do that? The madam and the old lady specifically instructed me not to allow any mishaps." There was no shortage of envy in the makeup artist's eyes. She had heard that Miss Li was just an orphan. Who would have thought that an orphan would have such good luck to marry into the Mo family? From now on, she would truly be a lady of a rich family, a life completely different from an ordinary person's. Li Xianxian enjoyed the envy in the makeup artist's eyes and, without saying much more, allowed the makeup artist to follow her into the fitting room. Just as she changed into her wedding gown, a servant entered from the outside. "Miss Li, there is someone looking for you." Chapter 478, Big Slap in the Face on Sight. _1. "Who is looking for me?" Li Xianxian asked. "Miss Zheng," the housekeeper replied. "Miss Zheng?" Li Xianxian squinted her eyes. "Is it Zhang Xianjing?" "Yes," the housekeeper nodded. Li Xiangxian's mouth curled into a smile as she sorted her dress. "Let her in." "All right." In a moment, the servant brought Zhang Xianjing in. Zhang Xianjing had her hair styled in the most popular manner of the time, framed by well-drawn eyebrows, painted red lips, a heavy layer of foundation making her face white as chalk. She wore a bright red formal dress, red high heels to match, looking more the bride than the bride herself. Just by her outfit, it was clear that she had come prepared. But Li Xianxian was not afraid anymore. Inside her belly was the legitimate heir of the Mo family. Even old lady Mo had to treat her with care and laughter now. So, what could a Zhang Xianjing count for? Li Xianxian greeted her with a warm smile. "Sister Xianjing." "Xianxian." Zhang Xianjing laughed as she grasped Li Xiangxian's hand. Anyone who didn't know them might have thought these two were the best of friends. "Xianxian, congratulations on finally marrying Brother Baichuan. I wish you a long and happy marriage until you both are old." Li Xianxian squinted her eyes. "Thank you. I also wish that Sister Xianjing will soon find her perfect husband. Don't worry, Xian. I will definitely marry the man I want to marry. Zheng Xianjing said provocatively. Li Xian laughed and retorted, Isn't it too early for you to say that, Sister Xianjing? Do you believe that a person's luck can change from full to emptiness? Marry the man she wanted? Did Zheng Xianjing hope to marry Mo Baichuan and become the second wife? She was so blatant about being a mistress. Shameless. Zheng Xianjing locked eyes with Li Xian, excitedly declaring, The game isn't ended yet. It's not certain who will be the ultimate winner. A mocking look flashed in Li Xianxian's eyes. In life, you should learn to cut losses at the right time. Don't wait until you hit a wall to realize that it's time to turn back. Even if you scheme your heart out, in the end, it's all in vain. Why keep trying? Without hitting that wall, how will I know it's not about to fall? Responded Zheng Xianjing, grinning. Xian, am I right? She would certainly win this battle. As for Li Xian, she was destined to be a stepping stone. Li Xian didn't take Zheng Xianjing seriously, replied with a smile. Then I wish for Sister Xianjing's complete victory. Zheng Xianjing's face was filled with undisguised triumph. Li Xian continued, Xiao Wang, bring a chair. I want to sit and chat with Sister Xianjing. After speaking, Li Xian turned her head to look at Zheng Xianjing and said apologetically, Ever since I got pregnant, I've been very weak. I always feel tired. Xianjing, you wouldn't mind me sitting down to talk, would you? Zheng Xianjing forced a smile. Of course not. How could I mind? The chair was right next to them. She could just sit down if she wanted to. But Li Xian had to make a show out of it, solely to flex her power over Zheng Xianjing. She was reminding Zheng Xianjing that she was carrying Mo Baichuan's child. Anything Zheng Xianjing did would be in vain. Mockery flashed across Zheng Xianjing's eyes. Just wait. The more triumphant Li Xian was now, the more desperate she would be later. Today was Mo Baichuan's wedding day, so a drama was about to be staged. And Ai Yang, as the aunt, had to be present, of course. At 10:30 a.m., Mo Qishan came to pick up Ai Yang on his bicycle. The moment Ai Yang opened the door, she saw Mo Qishan leaning against his bicycle smoking, emanating a strong and slender silhouette. Mo Qishan had outstanding features. A handsome face, refined and deep-set, knife-like cheekbones, each angle perfect. He was destined to be a ruler. Seeing Ai Yang approaching, Mo Qishan instantly extinguished the unfinished cigarette between his fingers. Yang. And Ai Yang walked over and sat on the crossbar of the bicycle. Brother Mo, let's go. Mo Qishan's nose brushed gently over her hair. All right. With the beauty in his arms, Mo Qishan rode the bike slowly. Mo family home. The wedding was scheduled for 12:18 p.m. By 10 o'clock, all the guests had arrived. Today was Mo Baichuan's wedding, so naturally, the task of entertaining guests fell to Mo Romping and Xiu Jiao. As for the old master and old lady Mo, all they had to do was enjoy the festivities and chat. Chapter 479, Big Slap in the Face on Sight. _2. Now that Baichuan has gotten married, who knows when we'll be able to celebrate your sixth child's wedding. The speaker was the Wang family's old lady, who generally didn't see eye to eye with the Mo family's old lady. Everyone knew that Mo Qishan had just been dumped by Zhao Jingrong. The Wang family's old lattice comment was obviously intended as scoffing, but the Mo family's old lady didn't seem to mind. Our sixth son's girlfriend is still young, and there's no hurry, she responded. Your sixth son has a girlfriend? The Wang family's old lady was taken aback. Not only was she surprised, but all the nearby observers were taken aback as well. Could a loser like Mo Qishan really find a girlfriend? What a sight to behold. The Mo family's old lady nodded. The young lady is only 18 years old this year, a whole 10 years younger than our sixth son. Mo Qishan was well over the hill, and to have found an 18-year-old girlfriend was definitely something for the Mo family's old lady to boast about. The Wang family's old lady continued. If your sixth son already has a girlfriend, then she must be here for such an important day. Erwin, why are you hiding this? You've got such a wonderful daughter-in-law. Why not introduce her to us? Are you worried we might steal your family's prestige? On hearing this, the others around them nodded in agreement, their eyes gleaming with anticipation of the unfolding drama. Yes, watching the drama. What type of girlfriend could a loser like Immerse find? Probably some low-class girl not fit for the social scene. So, everyone was eager for the Mo family's old lady to make a fool of herself. The Mo family had held their ground in Beijing for years, and people were grateful they still had their hopeless son to joke about. Otherwise, the Mo family might completely monopolize Beijing. While some appeared friendly with the Mo family on the surface, they secretly wished for their downfall. The Mo family's old lady responded with a smile. Our sick son has gone to pick up the young lady. Don't be impatient, everyone. Erwin, it's almost 11 o'clock. They're not bailing, are they? Scoffed the Wang family's old lady, implying that it'd be shameful to showcase the undeserving girlfriend. Someone else chimed in. Perhaps they're too intimidated by the crowd to show up. It's only natural for the young lady to be shy. Do you think we can compare just anyone to Jingrong? The mention of Zhao Jingrong brought a moment of silence. After all, she was Mo Kishin's ex-fiancée. Bringing her up in this setting was clearly an attempt to stir up trouble. Auntie, since you're so pleased with your sick son's girlfriend, she must be even more beautiful than Sister Jingrong, right? The speaker was Zhao Jingrong's good friend, Sun Yulan. Zhao Jingrong's beauty was widely recognized amongst their circle. It would be difficult to find another woman more beautiful than her. Sun Yulan's words were clearly meant to embarrass the Mo family's old lady. The Mo family's old lady smiled at Sun Yulan. Beauty is only skin deep. Some people may have pretty faces, but they're dishonest and do despicable things. What use is their beauty? Her words were a veiled insult to Sun Yulan and indirectly Zhao Jingrong. Sun Yulan was taken aback, but she retorted, while that saying holds some truth, how many of us genuinely disregard appearance? Isn't it a consolation for those who can't have it? Her words were mocking the Mo family's old lady for bemoaning the loss of what she could not have. What kind of girlfriend could that loser Mo Chishin possibly get? Perhaps she's just some ugly, dull woman. If she were genuinely beautiful, the Mo family's old lady would not have been harping on about beauty only being skin deep. Someone nearby joined in the conversation. Finding a suitable wife these days is no easy task. It's quite remarkable that your sick son managed to find one. You shouldn't mind whether she's beautiful or not. Mrs. Liu is right. It doesn't matter if she's a bit ugly, as long as she can continue the family lineage. Everyone was chiming in with their mockery towards the Mo family's old lady. But the Mo family's old lattice demeanor didn't falter. Erwin, why haven't your sick son and his girlfriend arrived yet? Could it be like they said, she was scared off and is too fearful to show up? Just then, two figures approached from outside the door. The Mo family's old lattice eyes lit up, gesturing to them. Yang Yang, sixth. Mo Chishin was leading Ni Yang towards them. Mom. Chapter 480, Big Slap in the Face on Sight. _3. Ni Yang greeted following Hua and Mo. Ni Yang, you guys are here at last. Mo said. Mo Chishin said. We were held up on the way. Ni Yang's ears turned red for an instant, and she discreetly pinched Mo Kishin's waist. Mo Chishin maintained a calm expression, acting as if nothing happened. The elderly Madame Mo did not notice the exchange between them. She took Ni Yang's hand and introduced, Yang Yang, let me introduce you. This is Aunt Wang, Aunt Wu, Aunt Zhao, and this is Sun Yulan from Aunt Qian's family. After finishing her introduction, Madame Mo turned to everyone and said, this is Ni Yang, my sixth grandson's girlfriend. Ni Yang was dressed in a light blue Chong Sam. Her black, shiny hair was braided into a beautiful fishtail, adorned with pearls. Draped over her shoulder, she did not wear any makeup, but her beauty took everyone's breath away. Thank the heavens for the gorgeous woman who lives in the valley. The appearance of Ni Yang made everyone feel uncomfortable. After all, Just a few minutes before, they had mocked Mo Kishin's girlfriend in front of Madame Mo, calling her ugly. Unexpectedly, Mo Kishin had brought such a stunning beauty back home, and Aiyong politely greeted everyone. She conducted herself with elegance, overshadowing Sun Yulon, a fellow member of the elite. As another woman, it was inevitable to feel a touch of envy. Sun Yulon had never expected that Mo Kishin's girlfriend was not only prettier than her, but even more beautiful than Zhao Jingron. She had originally intended to slap Madame Mo for disrespecting Zhao Jingron. Unexpectedly, the tables have turned, and she was the one who got slapped by Madame Mo. This scene was witnessed by Zhang Xianjing. Zhang Xianjing gestured Sun Yulon to come over. Sun Yulon quietly walked towards her. Xianjing, "Yulon, come over here." Sun Yulon moved closer to listen. Within Zhang Xianjing's eyes, a calculating glint flashed as she whispered something quietly. What a splendid day. Not only did she get a chance to expose Li Xiangxian's true identity in public, but she could also embarrass Aiyong to the last. Hearing this, Sun Yulon's eyes reflected a sense of smugness, and she said, "Thank you, Xianjing." Zhang Xianjing replied with a smile, "My pleasure." "It'll go over now," said Sun Yulon. Zhang Xianjing nodded. Sun Yulon returned to Aiyang's side and continued the conversation. "Yang, I heard you're just a junior high school student, right?" Aiyang didn't avoid the question and nodded directly. A junior high school student? Upon hearing this, everyone's expressions varied significantly. In this wealthy family, the lowest educational level among girls was a college degree, with many holding master's or doctoral degrees, and many had studied abroad. However, there were none who had only graduated from junior high school, except for Aiyang. What's the use of being pretty? She's like a gorgeous but empty vase. Sun Yulon regained some of her confidence and said, Yang, girls should continue their study. I graduated from the #1 middle school, and since I was admitted to university, I have some reputation there. Do you need my help to introduce you to the principal so that you can study again at #1 middle school? Thank you, but I don't need it. And Aiyang responded lightly, I'm already an inserted student in the 3rd grade of #3 middle school. People waiting for a laugh were stunned. What? And Aiyang already entered #3 middle school? Was it arranged by the Mo family? However, the threshold for admission to #3 is high, with students usually entering based on their actual grades. If the Mo family wanted to make arrangements, they could probably only manage for admission to #1 middle school. Sun Yulon's face stiffened. She hadn't expected such a turn of events. Perhaps Aiyang was just boasting. #3 middle school was not a place where one could enter just like that. Sun Yulon continued. Which class are you in? I'm in class 5. Class 5? What a coincidence. She could immediately expose Aiyang's lie. Chu Finyan, the daughter of Uncle Chu, is also in class 5 at #3. Do you know her? Aiyang went to class 5 only twice apart from the exams. How could she know all the students of class 5? Aiyang said, I've just transferred there, so I'm not quite familiar with my classmates in class 5 yet. Really? Sun Yulon's smile seemed a bit strange. It's natural that you don't remember all your classmates, but Yunyan would definitely remember you. In Sun Yulon's opinion, Aiyang was clearly panicking. It was because she was anxious that she claimed not to know Chu Yunyan. Chapter 481, Big Slap in the Face on Site. _4. Oh, go get Yunyan. On the side, one of the girls could hardly wait to see Aiyang make a fool of herself. Exposing Aiyang's lies in front of everyone would certainly make her extremely embarrassed. Chu Yunyan was quickly called over. As she walked in their direction, there was no joy in her eyes upon seeing her classmates. The triumphant look on Sun Yulon's face became more apparent. She knew very well that Chu Yunyan would definitely not know Aiyang. The others also wore disdainful expressions while watching Aiyang. Why learn bad habits at such a tender age? Having to resort to lying. She's too vain. While she's not a student at city #3 middle school, she boasts about having passed their transfer student exam. Just then, Chu Yunyan, who had a plain expression at first, suddenly lit up and quickly walked over to Ni Yang, exclaiming in surprise, Ni Yang, it really is you. I thought I'd seen wrong just now. Chu Yunyun has severe myopia, so she didn't notice Ni Yang at the beginning, hence her indifference. Ni Yang smiled and nodded. Now, Sun Yulan's face hung in the balance. Yunyun, do you know Yang Yang? Chu Yunyun said, Ni Yang is a well-known figure in our school. She ranks first in the transfer student exam. Not just me, nobody in the school would not know who Ni Yang is. After all, Ni Yang was ranked first, and she was beautiful. It was too hard for everyone to forget about her. Ranked first, Sun Yulan's face changed. She had no idea that Ni Yang would be so excellent. Now, instead of being the one to humiliate, she herself got humiliated. The faces of other people around were also not looking good. They originally wanted to witness a joke, but they were repeatedly left red-faced. At this moment, an elderly woman with white hair recognized Ni Yang. Young lady, weren't you the girl who gifted the longevity picture at the last birthday feast? The longevity picture that Ni Yang had presented last time had left a deep impression on everyone. Afterwards, some people who were uninformed even offered a handsome amount to buy the longevity picture, but they were refused by Mrs. Mo. Old Lady Mo chimed in. Yes, the one who presented the longevity picture was Yang Yang. Don't underestimate her age, she knows a lot. Xiaodai's illness was also cured by her. Old Lady Mo took the opportunity to extol Ni Yang. Aren't good daughters-in-law meant to be boasted about? Ni Yang ran into Li Xianxian on her way to the bathroom. To be precise, Li Xianxian had purposely sought her out. Ni Yang. Li Xianxian looked at Ni Yang, a triumphant smile on her face. What's the matter? Ni Yang raised her eyes slightly. Ni Yang. Li Xianxian proudly stuck out her tummy, impregnant. Ni Yang's tone was neutral. I know. It's Mo Baichuan's child. Li Xianxian said, looking extremely pleased with herself. Yes, Li Xianxian was here to claim her sovereignty. From start to finish, she had never considered Zheng Xianjing as a threat. Her real enemy was Ni Yang. After all, there was the precedent from the previous life. That's why she could not let her guard down. She couldn't let anyone snatch Mo Baichuan from her. What is it that you want to say? Ni Yang arched her eyebrows slightly. I already know all that. Also, let me tell you a secret, Li Xianxian continued. Do you know who Mo Baichuan really is? Ni Yang remained silent. Li Xianxian, feeling elated, said, he is Mr. Mog, and in the future, he'll be Mrs. Mog. Mrs. Mog, that was an enviable title to everyone. How? What does that concern me? Ni Yang was not concerned about who Mog was. In other words, it did not matter who Mr. Mog was. It had absolutely nothing to do with her. Li Xianxian curved up the corners of her mouth. Ni Yang, stop pretending. I know you are feeling miserable. But it's pointless for you to feel bad now. As long as I'm by Baichuan's side, you'll never stand a chance to snatch him away. The winner of this life is her. Ni Yang was destined to be nothing more than a stepping stone. Ni Yang also didn't get angry. Instead, she looked at her calmly with a smile. Seeing Ni Yang's calm demeanor, Li Xianxian suddenly felt panic rising in her heart. She refused to believe that Ni Yang would easily give up on Mo Baichuan. Now that she is married to Mo Baichuan, and in the future, only she will get to stay by Mo Kishin's side. Keeping Ni Yang around would always pose a threat. It seems she needs to find a way to get rid of Ni Yang. Li Xianxian squinted her eyes. Soon, it was 12 o'clock, and the wedding would start in just 18 minutes. The wedding was set to take place in the Mo family's back garden. By this time, everyone was heading towards the back garden. Ni Yang and Mo Qishan were not in a hurry, following behind the crowd leisurely. Chapter 482, Big Slap in the Face on Sight. Underscore 5. Yang. Just then, someone slapped Ni Yang's shoulder. Yinran. Ni Yang glanced back slightly, laughing. Yinran, when did you get here? I had something up this morning, so I just got here. Feeling emptiness in his hand, Mo Qishan threw an unhappy glance at Li Yinran. Li Yinran was joking around with Ni Yang when she suddenly felt a chill and looked back, murmuring, strange, Why do I feel like someone's watching me from behind? It's rather chilly. And Ayong laughed. Who's looking at you? Your secret admirer? Imo-chishin. It's the person who wants to slap her to death. Bro, Xiaozhou came over from the other side. What's wrong with you, bro? Why the long face? It's your nephew's big day today. You should be happy. Imo-chishin squinted. You go and get her out of here. Who? Xiaozhou asked curiously. Li Yanran. Imo-chishin uttered coldly. Why send her away? Xiaozhou asked in confusion. Isn't she happily chatting with Yang over there? You go your own way. She goes hers. She's not in your way. Why are you making things difficult for the girl? Have you been in love before? Imo-chishin looked at Xiaozhou, answering out of context. No. Xiaozhou shook his head. Do you want to get a girlfriend? Imo-chishin asked again. Yes. Xiaozhou said excitedly. Bro, why don't you teach me how to find a girlfriend? My requirements aren't high. Any girl will do. He has been unable to find one. Imo-chishin sighed. You better prepare to be a bachelor for the rest of your life. Why? Xiaozhou was heartbroken. Imo-chishin said, because you don't have what it takes to be in a relationship. The wedding auditorium was divided into two sides by a long aisle covered in red carpet. As soon as Ayong sat down, Mo Baichuan, standing on the stage rehearsing lines with the MC, saw him. Ayong came after all. Mo Baichuan thought Ayong wouldn't show up. He squinted, a touch of wariness flickering in his eyes. He absolutely couldn't let Ayong ruin their wedding. Seeing Ayong finally settled down, Imo-chishin quickly sat down next to him. Ayong was chatting with Li Yanran, while Imo-chishin was lowering his gaze, counting her fingers one by one, playing with them in his hand. Her slender fingers, with no color on the nails, were lovely with their faint pink whiteness. They were as delicate as rows of small seashells. 12:18. The wedding ceremony officially began. With the MC's introduction, Mo Baichuan and Li Xianxian, dressed in a Western-style wedding dress, slowly emerged from backstage. The flower children were scattering petals ahead. A round of applause erupted from below the stage. Upon seeing Ayong made no move from below the stage, Mo Baichuan heaved a sigh of relief. At the same time, there was a twinge of disappointment in his heart. He couldn't explain why. He clearly didn't look forward to Ayong disrupting the wedding. Yet when Ayong made no move, he grew anxious. Was Ayong planning something big? That's why he hadn't made another move yet. After the MC's introduction and interaction, the next part was the priest's vow. Ayong glanced at Zheng Xianjing nonchalantly. Zheng Xianjing was staring intently at the stage, her face focused as if deep in thought. Ayong picked up a cup of tea and took a gentle sip. Just then, the priest's voice came through the air. Mr. Mo Baichuan, in poverty, illness, difficulty, pain, wealth, health, joy, happiness, do you vow to not abandon Miss Li Xianxian and to love and cherish her lifelong? Before Mo Baichuan could answer, a clear female voice sounded from below the stage. Wait. The smile on Li Xianxian's face instantly froze at the corners of her mouth, and she glanced down at the stage. She had been worried about Ayong causing trouble at the wedding. She had never expected that the person causing trouble was Zheng Xianjing. What was Zheng Xianjing trying to do? A sense of dread suddenly surged in Li Xianxian's heart. Ma'am, do you have a question? The priest looked at Zheng Xianjing. Zheng Xianjing smiled. I just wanted to give the bride a personal wedding gift before the vows. Saying this, Zheng Xianjing walked towards the stage. Dressed in a bright red gown, she was quite ostentatious, stealing the limelight from the bride. What was supposed to be just a regular wedding, no one expected would churn out such a scene. Chapter 483, Big Slap in the Face on Sight. _6. No one knew what Zheng Xianjing was up to. Old Mrs. Zheng looked at Zheng Lingling with a pale face. Lingling, what does Xianjing want to do? Zheng Lingling said, Mom, don't worry. Xianjing is a sensible girl. She won't do anything outrageous. Old Mrs. Zheng continued, Are you mother and daughter hiding something from me? No, Mom. Zheng Lingling responded with a smile. Mom, you are overthinking. Old Mrs. Zheng frowned. What is Xianjing doing on the stage? She doesn't know how many eyes are watching her from under the stage. Her every word and move represents the Zheng family. Any slight misstep would give people a handle against us. Zheng Lingling said, Baichuan and Xianjing have grown up together. Now that Baichuan is getting married, it's only right that Xianjing prepares a small gift. Is it really just giving a gift? Old Mrs. Zheng continued. Zheng Lingling smiled and said, Mom, you'll see. Old Mrs. Zheng was very worried, fearing that Zheng Xianjing would do something outrageous. And Ai Yang sat in the audience, eating the sunflower seeds peeled by Mo Qishan while watching the stage. Yang, what do you think Zheng Xianjing wants to do? Li Yanran scooted closer with curiosity on her face. Do you think Zheng Xianjing is trying to elope? And Ai Yang responded calmly. Didn't Zheng Xianjing say she has a big gift? Big gift, Li Yanran said. Looks more like Zheng Xianjing wants to make a scene at the wedding. Who would dress more flashy than the bride on her wedding day? There was clearly malicious intent. The audience was getting excited. The priest, prompted by Li Ziangxian's hinted glance, turned to Zheng Xianjing. Miss Zheng, could you deliver your gift privately so as not to postpone the auspicious time? Zheng Xianjing replied, I won't be long. Look, the gift is coming. A child around 5 or 6 was slowly approaching from the end of the red carpet. Upon seeing Li Xianxian, his steps suddenly quickened. Mom. He ran over and hugged Li Xianxian. The color on Li Ziangxian's face changed drastically in a moment, but quickly reverted back to normal. Stay calm. She can't panic. That little bastard is long dead. There must be some misunderstanding here. The audience exchanged glances, seeing confusion in each other's eyes. Li Xianxian bent low and tenderly looking at Fua. Little friend, you must have mistaken me for someone else. I didn't mistake you for someone else. You are my mom. Fua's eyes reddened all of a sudden. Mom, don't you want Fua anymore? Fua? Zhou Fua? It was as if Li Xianxian had been doused with a bucket of icy water from head to toe, chilling her to the bone. How is this little bastard still alive? As a reborn individual, Li Xianxian never left any risks for herself. In her memory of the future, Zhou Tianba's legs were broken due to a theft, and due to not receiving prompt medical treatment, he eventually died from an infected wound. And Zhou Fua disappeared without a trace after Zhou Tianba's death. According to her memories from the future, Zhou Tianbao and Zhou Fua had been in trouble for over a month. So why was Zhou Fua still perilously standing here? This must be Zheng Xianjing trying to scare her with a decoy. Li Xianxian put in great effort to maintain her smile, saying softly, Little friend, you really have me mistaken for someone else. Zheng Xianjing looked at Li Xianxian with a mocking expression in her eyes. Li Xianxian. Oh no, comrade Sun Dalian. Don't you recognize your own son whom you carried for 10 months? Chapter 484, Green Hat, _1, Sundalian. Upon hearing these 3 words, Li Ziangxian's face turned white. Zheng Xianjing knew. Zheng Xianjing knew about the secret she had tried desperately to hide. What now? Li Xianxian had never dreamt that Zheng Xianjing would know about this. The audience below the stage were all shocked. The bride actually had a son. His real name was Sun Dalian. In other words, Mo Baichuan actually married a woman who was already used. This was too explosive. Li Xianxian tried hard to calm herself down. She turned to look at Zheng Xianjing and frowned. Sister Xianjing, I know you've always liked Baichuan, and you even try to harm me with drugs because of this. Now you're here, spouting nonsense. The guests present here are not fools. Do you think they will believe you? At this moment, Li Xianxian had to hold her ground. She couldn't let Zheng Xianjing get her way. No one could ruin her wedding. Zheng Xianjing only brought Zhou Fua, which meant that Zhou Tianbao was already dead. Zhou Tianbao was dead, so what could a young child possibly do? With this thought, Li Xianxian felt a bit more relieved. Upon hearing her words, the anger on Mo Baichuan's face gradually dissipated. Yes, he had misunderstood Li Xianxian once. At a time like this, he couldn't let Li Xianxian be wronged again. Zhang Xianjing, like Ni Yang, was determined to marry him, and so had tried every means to undermine Li Xianxian. Xianjing, stop causing trouble. Mo Baichuan looked at Zhang Xianjing, his eyes full of warning. Zhang Xianjing said, Brother Baichuan, am not causing trouble. I'm very clear about what I'm doing. It wasn't me who framed Li Xianxian last time. It was her setting me up. Li Xianxian is not a good woman at all. She abandoned her husband and her child. She doesn't deserve you. Last time, if it wasn't for Li Xianxian deliberately misleading her, she wouldn't have fallen into Li Xianxian's trap. This time, she would not let this mean woman continue to get her way. Li Xianxian looked at Mo Baichuan with a wronged expression, like someone trying to find a reason to frame her. The occurrence of this incident at the wedding made the faces of the elder Mr. and Mrs. Mo quite embarrassed. The faces of Mo Romping and Xiao Jiao turned even uglier. Zhang Xianjing had really crossed the line this time. Could she just make such accusations about abandoning husband and children? From their understanding of Li Xianxian over this period, she was not such a person. She was gentle, kind, understanding, respectful to elders, and an extraordinary daughter-in-law. Xiao Jiao had no daughters of her own, and through the time they had spent together, she had come to regard Li Xianxian as her own daughter, and she absolutely did not believe that Li Xianxian would do such a thing. Zhang Xianjing insulting Li Xianxian like this, wasn't it like slapping the Mo family in the face? Auntie Zhang, is Xianjing not feeling well lately? Does she know what she's doing? Xiao Jiao walked over to Mrs. Zhang and asked calmly while suppressing her anger. Madame Zhang was so angry that her face turned white. She started to cough violently and turned to Zhang Lingling. You go call Xianjing back. Tell her to stop causing trouble. Zhang Lingling responded, Mom, don't be angry for now. Sister-in-law, just be a little more patient. You've watched Xianjing grow up since she was little. Do you think she's the type of person to talk nonsense? Xiao Jiao asserted angrily. I believe Xianxian is not that kind of person. Sister-in-law, there's no smoke without fire. One should judge a person on more than just their appearance. Zhang Lingling continued. The innocent reveals itself. If Li Xianxian is truly innocent, then no matter what, we can't wrongly accuse her. Xiao Jiao warned, Lingling, our two families are old friends, but let me speak bluntly today. When it turns out that it's Xianjing making something out of nothing, you must apologize to Xianxian and clear her name. At this stage, only if the Zhang family personally stepped in to apologize to Li Xianxian could the situation be salvaged. Zhang Lingling nodded. Sister-in-law, rest assured. If it does turn out to be that Xianjing tried to frame someone for no reason, we will personally apologize to Li Xianxian and ask for forgiveness, Xiao Jiao snorted coldly. On the wedding stage, Fua tugged at Li Xianxian's skirt, begging, Mom, please don't abandon me, and Dad. The episode stirred up such a fuss that the guests started to discuss amongst themselves. Mo Baichuan's gaze involuntarily moved towards Ni Yang. Amid the unexpected turn of events at the wedding, the happiest person should be Ni Yang, right? Chapter 485, Green Hat, _2. I wonder if Ni Yang and Zhang Xianjing together designed this stunt. After all, they're birds of feather. Mo Baichuan narrowed his eyes. Little fellow, Li Xianxian looked at Fua gently. You've mistaken me for someone else. I'm really not your mother. Amidst his crying, Fua insisted. You are my mother. You really are my mother. Li Xianxian left when Zhou Fua was barely a year old, an infant. What could an infant remember? These words were surely Zhang Xianjing's doing. Reunited with her biological son after 6 years, Li Xianxian felt not the expected emotional stirrings, but endless regret. She regretted leaving too hurriedly and not ending the little monster's life. If only she had killed him, there would be no troubles like these today. From above, Zhang Xianjing watched Li Xianxian, an expression full of mockery on her face. Li Xianxian, you heartless witch. You're so desperate to marry into a wealthy family. You won't even acknowledge your own child. Zhang Xianjing. Li Xianxian shot up, her eyes locked on his Xianjing. Today is my wedding day. That's why I've been tolerating you. But be warned, I may behave like a pushover, but am not. Push me one more time, and you'll see my wrath." If she continued bearing everything in silence, Xianjing might mistake her for a sick cat. With a small laugh, Xianjing continued, "Li Xianxian, stop pretending. Your real name is Sun Dalian, currently 21 years old. At 16, you had a son, Zhou Fuwa, with Zhou Tianbao from your village. At 17, you abandoned Zhou Tianbao and Fuwa and came to Beijing alone, changing your name to Li Xianxian." She paused. "Furthermore, as far as I know, you're not an orphan. Your mother's name is Li Shu, and your father's son Shiwu, who just recently was imprisoned for murder. The only reason you've concealed your identity and name is because you're scared people would uncover your past of deserting your husband and child and having a murderer for a father." A wave of blood seemed to surge painfully through Li Xianxian's body. She had come prepared, but never anticipated Xianjing would know so much about her past. How did Zheng Xianjing know all this? Why was Zheng Xianjing out to ruin her? With a small smile, Zheng Xianjing asked, "Sun Dalian, do you still claim that I'm making all this up?" There were murmurs of astonishment from the crowd. No one had expected Li Xianxian to have such a past. Even the elder Mo's were deeply shocked. Xiao Jiao's face twitched. Gauging by Xianjing's sure tone, could it be true? "You are making it all up. You just love Baichuan. The sole purpose of your actions is jealousy because I am marrying Baichuan." Li Xianxian, tears streaming down her face, defended, "I know I'm not matched for you, being from a rich family, but I am now carrying Baichuan's child. A child needs a father. Sister Xianjing, I beg you to stop pushing me. Can you let me and my child live?" With her final words, Li Xianxian fell to her knees. Many guests had been invited to the wedding, but only a few close to the Mo family knew that Li Xianxian was pregnant. Her words held two meanings. She made herself the victim and revealed her pregnancy to everyone present. Since she was pregnant, no matter what happened, the Mo family should not ignore her. Her words instantly swayed the pendulum in her favor. People are inclined to sympathize with the weak. Witnessing Li Xianxian kneeling down, the crowd instinctively sided with her. Li Xianxian is so pitiful. She has been forced into this state by Zheng Xianjing. Zheng Xianjing is shameless. Mo Baichuan is already getting married, but she still can't let him go. Suddenly, the scapegoat of public criticism, Zheng Xianjing steadied herself, then responded, "Sun Dalian, there's undeniable evidence of your relationship with Fuwa. He's your son, and you can't abandon him. Also, your father in prison, son Shiwu, I believe you would recognize his own daughter. Oh, and there's also your previous man, Zhou Tianbao." "Zhou Tianbao? Is Zhou Tianbao not dead? Who's Zhou Tianbao? I don't know her." Li Xianxian strongly denied, still kneeling on the ground. Chapter 486, Green Hat, _3. "Sun Dalian, I could forgive you for being unfaithful, but now you even deny our own son, Fuwa. Have you no heart left?" An angry voice suddenly erupts from the crowd. Everyone turns towards the source of the voice and sees the frail figure of Zhou Tianbao. "Daddy!" Upon seeing Zhou Tianbao, Fuwa breaks into a smile through his tears and joyfully runs towards him. "Daddy, I found Mommy, but Mommy doesn't want me anymore." His words trail off in a sadness. Is it because Fuwa's not good enough? That's why Mommy doesn't want Fuwa anymore. Zhou Tianbao picks up Fuwa and slowly approaches Li Xianxian. From the crowd, Li Yanran excitedly exclaims, "I knew that Li Xianxian wasn't any good. I didn't expect that she even has a son, and that she abandoned both her husband and her son. TSK, she is truly shameless." And Ai Yang remains silent, his expression indifferent, as if he stands apart from the crowd. Mo Qishan, standing next to him, is even more composed. "Yang Yang, do you want some sunflower seeds?" "No." And Ai Yang shakes his head. "Well, how about some grapes? You must be thirsty from eating sunflower seeds for so long." As he speaks, Mo Qishan begins to peel grapes for Ai Yang and even brings a grape up to his lips. Bro, Xiaozhou nudges Mo Kishin's shoulder. With all this happening to the Mo family, aren't you worried at all? At this point of crisis, Mo Qixin is surprisingly still in the mood to peel grapes. If Xiaozhou hadn't known Mo Qixin since elementary school, he would be convinced that Mo Kishin's family name was an I. Not Mo. Mo Qixin replies indifferently. What good would it do if I were to worry? Instead of that, I might as well do something worthwhile. With that, he turns back to peeling grapes for an I Yang. Xiaozhou, so doing something worthwhile means peeling grapes for an I Yang? It's obvious that Mo Qixin will be henpecked if he ever gets married. From the corner of her eye, she watches Zhou Tianbao slowly approaching her. Cold sweat breaks out along Li Xiangxian's spine. Why didn't Zhou Tianbao die? Why is Zhou Tianbao still alive? The sight of Zhou Tianbao brings back unbearable memories for Li Xianxian. What could she do now? No. Everything she had worked so hard to achieve, she couldn't let someone else take it all away. She can't lose. I don't know you. Li Xianxian stares at Zhou Tianbao and his son. You are actors hired by Zhang Xianjing. I have no quarrel with you. Why are you doing this to me? Bai Chuan, get them out of here. Li Xianxian struggles to her feet, and like a drowning person clutching at straws, she grabs Mo Baichuan's arm. Zhou Tianbao looks at Mo Baichuan. So you're the woman who stole my wife? You and her deserve each other. Your evil deeds will come back to haunt you. Zhou Tianbao is dark and thin with a stooped back. He looks at least 40 or 50 years old. How could Li Xianxian possibly be attracted to him? Mo Baichuan frowns and barks angrily. Where is security? Get this madman out of here. In this age, security is a burgeoning industry. In common parlance, they're referred to as door guards, but among the elite circles, the term security is starting to catch on. Hearing this, 5 or 6 security guards immediately approach from the crowd. Zhou Tianbao puts down Zhou Fua and grabs Li Xiangxian's arm. If I have to leave, they'll take my wife with me. Mommy! Zhou Fua bursts into tears and clings to Li Xiangxian's leg. I want Mommy! They're kidnapping. The Mo family is kidnapping people. Is there no justice left in this world? Calls of protest and cries of alarm mix into a confusing cacophony. Li Xianxian is panicking. She is truly panicking now. Her wedding dress is ruined. Her makeup smears. Her meticulously planned event is ruined. Does she really have to give up? All of you stop. The elderly Mrs. Mo strides onto the stage, sharply rapping her cane on the floor. With the situation spiraling out of control, Madame Mo has no choice but to take control. The formidable command of a woman who had been through battles in her youth resonates through the room. As soon as she speaks, a hushed silence falls over the crowd. Madam, I can tell you are a person who can resolve things. Please, you must help us father and son. Zhou Tianbao breaks into sobs as he approaches Madam, please give me back my mother. Fua steps forward and tugs at the edge of Mrs. Mo's dress. You're tuning into the Romance Rendezvous YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.